Hey, and we are live. That
Aha.
that was easier than
Aha.
last time. Yeah. Hi, I'm Paul. I am the GM of Tales of Swordfall, and tonight we have two people. Uh, yeah. How about the newest person that we haven't heard from? Introduce yourself first.
I'm guessing that's me here. It's
Yep, that is you.
I'm Guy. That guy who can't sing is kind of my general handle and YouTube channel and stuff. But you just call me Guy. This Guy is cool. It's fine. It's fine.
Awesome. And we got to know most of everyone last time. So how about you just say your general experience with role playing games, if any, and what you enjoy about role playing games, if you have any experience.
Yeah. So I played. Actually, I guess my first experience with it was I was back when Skype was really popular. um, I accidentally got invited to a Skype chat because they thought I was someone else. Turned out this is a little forum RP group, and once they decided, oh hey, you're pretty cool, you want to play along with us, and that's how I got into like just sort of typing stuff out. Forum RP is more story based than numbers, but and a couple years of that, and some like 10 years ago, I did like some 3.5, probably about 6 months of playing 3.5 with some people. And other than that, just kind of little things here and there, and that's about it.
Awesome. Total freak accident. That's almost excellent. I like those kind of
Right?
stories. Um, and
Yeah,
like,
we're still friends. It's awesome. That was all the way back in 2006, and we're still friends.
oh wow, that's even more awesome when you can actually make friends in role play. And
Yeah.
what do you enjoy the most about them?
What about my friends or
Oh, about role playing games.
um,
Sorry.
about role playing? What do I enjoy about my friends? Well, they're cool.
They're my friends.
They're my friends. Otherwise, they wouldn't be. Uh, it's too logical. Role playing, it's I don't know. You just kind of get to do whatever you kind of want. I mean, it's nice when you have somewhere to start from when you're doing character creation and you're coming up with ideas. You kind of get a general setting and try and use that setting to inspire your character of like, well, what is someone that might actually exist in this world? Um, and then you just sort of take that and you run with it and come. I love backstories. I love coming up with character backstories and like this is the history. This is how they got to where they are now. This is where the story starts that you're currently a part of. That's the thing I'm into.
Awesome. Well, with how I run games, usually level one is the is your origin story. Basically, you're starting out on your own, and you're getting thrust into the world. But we'll be a little bit more on that later in this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, we do have somebody else joining us.
Hello.
Hey, still there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All
And
right.
who are you again? Even though I know who you are.
I am again Ethan. Um, my current little thing on there says Gats, but yeah, I'm Ethan. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, and just remind us your background and stuff.
Yeah. So I did a bit of D&D back in high school, mainly 3.5 and a lot of homebrew, of course. And then grew up and then was reintroduced to D&D in the 5th edition about 3 years ago. Been casually playing more and more ever since, and I love it.
Ah, so definitely got some experience here.
A
Yeah,
little bit.
Good.
I,
We need it.
yeah. As I said, like you guys are the more experienced players, and I'm kind of interested to see what you'll have, how you'll answer the questions tonight, because well, I'm Paul. I'm the DM. I actually have over 20 years experience, which is kind of like it's. I'm kind of proud of it, but then I kind of realize, wow, that's a long time. So,
Yeah, I guess to some of the younger people who may be watching, boy, we're old. We're
y-
old.
yeah, it's like you mentioned 10 years. I'm like 20 years. Ethan mentioned like 3 years of his life, which is like 1/4 of some people's age that might be listening at the moment.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, as some people that I chat with online and kind of the YouTube community, animator community, is it's like, oh hey, you could almost be my son.
yeah, that's always kind of a scary thought when it's like, oh yeah, this person can totally be like my niece or son, or I guess not.
But anyway,
Yeah, I'm
don't
like,
let don't let that deter you,
oh
younger viewers and listeners. We try to be a cool fam.
yeah.
Is
Hmm.
that cringy?
Nah, we haven't. Well, we haven't gotten into cringy. There's probably one person's going. Ugh.
A little bit of cringe is all right. A little bit is okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's get into this. Let's just start talking about characters and what we think they are, and then like level one. What does that mean to us? What does being a level one character, other than being highly squishy, means? The player's handbook has something in
Hmm.
here about that, and I'll just read it out. Um, in the first tier levels, and what they call first tier is 1 to 4, characters are effectively apprentice adventurers. They are learning the features that define them as members of particular classes, including the major choices that flavor their class features as they advance. Um, Threats they face are relatively minor if your DM's nice enough, usually posing a danger to local farmsteaders or villagers. So yeah, for me, what level one means when I'm either playing or hosting a game is that you guys are like the guys straight out of college. You've learned your trade. You guys are still kind of green to the world, but you're not like totally fish out of water. And people entrust that you know what to do to protect yourselves in a situation, and that's why you're out on your own. What do you guys think? How about we start with Ethan this time about level one characters?
Yeah. So to me, a level one character is kind of like you're you're not much different than the common rabble, besides the fact that you've either been raised or been exposed to some type of skill or trade or expertise. Like you are at the point where you're not like some grand hero. You're more of maybe like one of the town's fighters or one of your clan's healers or wise people, or you're starting to practice magic or something along those lines, or you're a charlatan who hasn't done too much to get yourself in trouble yet. But
Hmm.
you're right on that precipice of I'm going to make something of myself, but you haven't done that yet. Um, you're not that much um, you're not that crazy or more powerful than your typical like blacksmith even, um, not just speaking of like hit point wise, but world experience and just exposure to the world and all of its dangers. That's kind of how I think about it.
Cool. And Guy, how about you? What do you think?
You know, I agree with some stuff. Um, Definitely, as level one, you're not spectacular in any way. One thing is that I think is that some characters are level 1, like, okay, this is my time to go out and be somebody. However, I have also had characters in the past where just their personal situation forced them to have to go out, and really they didn't have a choice. Now, it's just some character had some kind of skill, but it maybe not even used it for combat. But like I had one character that would make fishing nets for a living, and just various circumstances led to this character had to leave her home and ended up with a group of people that were fighting against the thing that forced her out of her home. And she just decided, instead of being a collateral damage, to go and actually do something about it. But all she knew was how to use these big, I guess, kind of sewing needles for making fishnets. But hey, you got a couple of big needles, you could do something with that.
Yeah, that is piercing damage right there, if I ever heard some.
And being kind of a quiet and unimposing and very kind of, I guess, kind of stealthy character, ended up kind of fitting the rogue class.
Awesome. Yeah, those are wonderful, like, little tales that especially if you're able to, like, spin it that way, that you have a character, and because of the circumstances they have to become that level 1 character. That's always cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since we're playing with
greatness.
Yeah. Since we're playing with, like, brand new characters, we're gonna slightly do the whole, you were called to a job and everyone's gonna, like, have a reason for taking that job. So,
Right.
so we can get a little bit, like, easier with a group, and nobody has any, like, too much conflict. And plus, I'm lazy. Yeah, sweet. I think we all kind of can agree what a level 1 character means and where to start off, and we at least know that background wise we're not going to be like, yeah, I was a Grand Knight in the Grand Knight Guild, and now I'm a level 1 character. It's like, how? If you're a Grand Knight, shouldn't you be like tier 3?
Yeah, broke your tore your Achilles tendon, and now you got to learn magic. There you go.
You got to relearn to walk and learn magic.
Yeah.
He was a spoiled noble. He didn't actually have to do anything to become a Grand Knight.
That
kind of became.
That's a good one too, actually.
There's all kinds of ways you could go.
Yep.
All kinds of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
What do you mean I have to actually fight?
I have to fight now? What?
I think it generally begins with level 1. Actually, if I were to say in general, level 1 means it is humble beginnings.
I like that. Humble beginnings, yeah. So we're now going to talk about alignment, and I will try to say only positive things about that, because I have a lot of feelings about alignment, but yeah. So
It's a big thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, in 5th edition, there's kind of this weird thing where it's there, but there's not as much emphasis on it.
Yeah.
So, once again, referring back to the player's handbook, a typical creature in the worlds of Dungeons and Dragons has an alignment, which broadly describes its moral and personal attitudes. Alignment is a combination of two factors. One, it defines morality, good, evil, neutral, and the other describes attitudes towards society and order, lawful, chaotic, neutral. Thus, 9 distinct alignments define the possible combinations.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that to a point, but being one of those nerds in college and taking too many philosophy classes, it for me, especially when I'm a player, when I'm like, yeah, I'm an evil character, more or less I'm saying, hey, I'm selfish and I will only think about myself and use other people to basically do the things I want to get to. So, and a good person is totally selfless and will go out of their way to help the common good or whatever they think the common good is.
Yeah.
So, and then a neutral
Actually,
person's,
I
yeah,
created it. I created an evil character who tried to be good. It was interesting. It was just a very internal personal conflict with him. He thought
yeah,
he was doing good things, but really, from that was only from his perspective.
yeah. And then again, it's like good and bad can also be like in the form of society or your laws. Like if you're, you know, a lawful good character, but like something within your laws says every time I see a puppy, I have to kick it, and that appeases my god. I mean, a lot of people are going to be like, "Whoa, you're kicking puppies. That you can't be good." But it's like, no, I'm like fulfilling my purpose in life. To the
Right.
almighty puppy kicking god. You know.
And I assume you're talking about
Is that
paladins,
is that
of
a
course.
is that a 5e thing they added?
Uh, well, not really, but
They got a puppy kicking since the 5e.
yeah. And what were you saying, Ethan?
I was just making a little jab at paladins.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean,
Mindless law followers.
Yeah.
but
I
yeah,
have to kill these puppies. My goth commands me. Yeah.
that's how I do the most good. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So let's get your opinion on it here, guy. What do you think of alignments, and how do you use them as a character? You already gave us a small example, so
Yeah. It really just kind of alignment is it's a big thing in just general character's personality. I would say that character that I was talking about before, he kind of rides the borderline between neutral and evil, but definitely kind of leans a little bit chaotic. But I don't know. It's kind of neutral evil. It's really weird. But anyway, the it's not like he was the Joker or something like that. It's not like he was Darth Vader. Um, you can really have such a vast array of personalities within each alignment. But
yep,
but as such, your alignment is kind of determine how your character reacts to certain situations, just in general.
yeah,
Um, if your character sees someone poor on the side of the street, you know, are you going to walk past and ignore them? Are you going to kick dirt in their face? Are you going to stop and help them? Hey, there's your basic good, neutral, evil.
yeah, yeah. Basically, I
And so it really now your alignment. It's probably not going to affect like the numbers game really at all.
now 5e it doesn't.
Your dice are your dice, you roll them, but it's going
Yeah,
to affect kind of what I feel is one of the very important parts is character interaction and how you interact with other players, NPCs, just your general world.
yep, yeah. So that's why I like giving the whole like if you're evil, you're more selfish. You're gonna do things for you, and basically, you know, even though if you're not the one who's like kicking the dirt in the face of the person on the street that's like slowly dying, uh, you
Right.
might be the guy who commands like a buddy or thug, being like, "Hey man, you know what would be really funny if you kick dirt in that guy's face." I mean, But then again, like, even
Yeah.
if you're evil, you could be helping that person, being like, "Hey, look, I just saved your life. You owe me a favor." You know.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of ways to look
Oh
at
yeah, you
evil.
can. Yeah, you can totally. You can totally. Absolutely do that.
Oh yeah. Hey Ethan,
Yes.
let's get your 2 cents in here.
Oop, what?
Alignments and such. What do you think?
Alignments. I mean, I see alignments have a lot of uses. The way I like to use them, and I've liked to play around alignments, might be a little less typical than most people like to use alignments.
Hmm.
I like it just kind of as a guideline or a direction for character development, and then you use that to fall back on when it comes to tough decisions that you may not like know what you want to do as a player morally, but you're trying to figure out what you want your character to do morally. Like, say, oh, it makes sense for my character to do this, but I'm good aligned, not evil aligned, so I'm probably going to sway over to the good side when it comes to, making that tough choice or even small choices. But the problem I always have is, since, like Paul, I've taken a lot of philosophy classes, I have a hard time looking at anything as evil or good. Um,
Yeah.
so, it's all a matter of perspective and the values in a certain society or even to a certain character. Most evil in real, like, reality, most people and things we view as evil oftentimes don't see themselves as evil. It's more of, the world they live in. But it the alignment system has a really fun use in, you know role-playing settings, because we can use it to either help character generation like we were talking about, but it's also fun for a lot of people to do more of a typical simple, straightforward, simple sugar style of character development, NPC interaction. Sometimes people want to have a simple, like, things are good or bad when they're playing a high fantasy game or a sci-fi game or something like that. Good guys versus bad guys, neutral guys versus bad guys, kind of thing. Um, and sometimes it's nice to pretend to be in a world where things are good and bad and black and white. Um, where, yeah, if you don't help up the guy on the side of the road, then you're not good. If you pass him by but throw him some money, maybe you're neutral. And if you kick dirt in his face, you're bad. Um, but aside from that, I view it as kind of just a nice guideline to get you thinking about how to generate your character. And the way that alignments are used in a game really should be up to kind of how the GM wants to run it, mixed with what the players think these words mean. Like, what does good mean to the table? It's definitely going to mean something completely different to every single player, and how they apply that to a tabletop and role playing game setting, that's going to be very different as well. Like you were saying, Paul, evil and good, you tend to have that kind of a scale of selfishness versus selflessness.
Hmm.
Um, but somebody could have evil and good versus, like, a position of their relativity to who's in power, and do their values align with that housing power, versus those who are evil could be those who are, like, not in power. Um, I don't know if that made sense. I can elaborate more if you want, but
Oh no, that's
Right,
cool.
right.
Actually,
Kind of the good is what the majority is, and the minority
yeah,
is the evil.
I
That's
mean,
Yeah,
like,
it could be seen like that.
a simple sci-fi example, of course, could be, the Star Wars Rebels versus the Empire.
Right,
The Empire, from the Rebels' perspective, of course, is bad, and evil and all that. But if you switch that perspective from post clones, of course, to when they started recruiting soldiers, the Empire, I mean, is looking at the rebels like they're evil terrorists.
right.
They're blowing things up. They're killing soldiers. They don't have a clear goal besides destroying the Empire, and they're like, why?
You know,
What?
people say people look at Star Wars and they're like, oh, but obviously they created this. The Empire created this Death Star to blow up entire planets to help defeat the rebels, um, and secure supreme rule. And they're like, oh man, that's so evil. And then those same people might say, oh man, North Korea is so evil, we should just nuke the whole thing. And I'm like, don't you realize it's the same thing?
Yeah.
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 Well, before we
Not to
get
get political on you, but just as a comparison.
yes,
Yeah,
before
like-
before we get too blocked by YouTube because of political matters. Hi, Kristi.
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah, we were talking about alignments and how those work. Actually,
Ooh.
how about you introduce yourself, Kristi, again to everyone? And your basic role-playing experience, and then I'll ask you the first two questions that I asked these two.
Okay, very random butterfly here. Do art and gaming stuff, and I have no experience with D&D.
See, that's awesome because now we're gonna get like that fresh perspective. Yeah. So
Yeah.
to remind everyone,
The Walking Dead was on, and I had to watch that. And while I was watching that, I uploaded a video of some of the glitches that I experienced earlier today while playing Oblivion.
I saw that. That was
There's
actually
never
kind of
been a
funny.
glitch in Oblivion.
I mean, I was just strolling along, finishing like a Dark Brotherhood quest. So I was walking into this one little pub. And all of a sudden, there's a fight that breaks loose. I'm like, okay. So one guy kills someone. I straight up ignore it and go to the target and just like axe him. I'm like, okay, I'm getting rid of you first. Then I'm seeing what's going on. I notice the guard is just like twitching back and forth. And then I look around to where the target was. There's one guy on the floor below, and he's looking at the guy just wigging out. So his head's just moving back and forth. How the guy's just kind of wigging out. And it's just like, what's going on here? So I killed the guy who was wigging out, the guy who attacked someone at the beginning. He falls through the entire pub. He's no longer seen or anything. I assume I killed him. And then I walk out. There's a guard that stops me. I'm like, okay, I'll just pay money. Just take my stolen goods, whatever I have. And then the Count of Skingrad is right in front of me. I'm like,
No.
I'm in Breville. I don't know how he got there. And what was weird is all he says is, please, just go. I'm like, you came to me.
Oh God, gotta love when games just freak out like that.
And
So
that was the second time that Count has come to me. The first time was when I went to kill, like, Adominus Philida. I don't know if you know who that person was. He was, like, this retired guard who was hunting the Dark Brotherhood. So I kill the guy, and then all of a sudden he pops up in daylight, and he says the same thing. I'm like, what? And I think that was in Leowin too.
weird.
Like,
Yeah, I think it's one of the differences you can definitely see between, I guess, D&D type of RP game and PC game or whatever. One of the differences you'll see is in a video game you kind of have these very set in stone kind of world rules and behaviors that NPCs will have, and you have glitches sometimes.
Yeah.
Interesting with D&D because it's much more adaptable, and the glitches are only if like you forget something.
Yeah.
Usually if the DM forgets something.
Or
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
or it's like, oh yeah, this character has been here all along, guys. Huh? What? Yeah, like mentioned
Yeah.
it. Like when we started the session, he's been watching you guys all along, and you've been bad mouthing him for 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
I've
I
had
was
that.
just staring at you like,
Yeah, I've had that actually happen. It's like I describe everyone who's in the room. It's like a town meeting of sorts, and like the characters are just like, "Oh yeah, we have something to add. The count of so and so is just a douchebag, and blah blah blah. And here's all his crimes." And then Count what's his buck is like, "What do you mean?" So yeah,
we mean the other count.
no, the other Count
You know,
so and so. Yeah.
Can you
You
even
know, the
count,
one
bro?
over in this area.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So back to topics at hand. So Kristi, um, here's a good question for you. Since we're making characters tonight, we are starting at level 1. What do you think
Okay.
level 1 means? Like, what does it mean to you?
Basically, a scrub.
A scrub.
Well, I don't know what else to describe it.
Cool. Yeah. Um,
Dead in the water given the right enemies.
dead in the water given the right enemy. That can be true about a lot of levels, though. So and the thing that we were just talking about were alignments. So D&D has an alignment system, which all characters kind of have. It's kind of your, well, it is your moral compass that you go by. There's good, evil, and neutral. And then also there's like how much rule that you dictate your life. It's part of your alignment, and there's lawful, neutral again, and chaotic, which means, lawful, it's kind of self-explanatory. You have a set of rules that dictate your life. Neutral means, you probably like go with society norms, or you have your own like little set rule set, but it's changeable, especially with life experiences. And then you have chaotic, which you probably have no rule set whatsoever. And that's kind of like a brief overview. If anybody wants to like add more to that, they can.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah, we didn't really talk about the lawful versus chaotic very much.
Nah, we didn't do that very well. Like for me, they seem pretty self-explanatory. Like lawful, you have a set of rules that you go by. They're a never-changing set of rules. Neutral, you probably do have rules, or you have like loose terms that you go by. Like I don't kill, but there will probably be that one situation where I'm going to kill for defense. And chaotic, I more or less see that like going by your own emotions at the moment. Like whatever just happens, you go by your gut.
Like I think I was just mentioning earlier, along the row of evil, on one end you could have Darth Vader as like in the way it's portrayed in the Star Wars films. Darth Vader is your lawful evil, and then on the other end you have the Joker as your chaotic evil.
Yeah, that's how most people would probably actually describe those two, because they are pretty polar opposites. Then again,
oh yeah, absolutely. They would not get along well.
no, like it's like when Lex Luthor and the Joker try to team up. They want to destroy, Batman or Superman, but the means of doing it and how they want to do it are completely different.
Yeah, Lex Luthor wants everything in his control, whereas the Joker wants everything out of control.
Yep. Comic book references. Yes. Hi.
Hey, you take popular stuff. It makes good mental image.
So, Kristi, with that light knowledge, how could you see that using? How could you see using that as a character?
Huh. Let me see.
I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here.
I know. I've got to think on this. I'm like, because the character would probably do, like, if the situation calls for it, she would probably do the right thing. But if let's say there's a rare artifact involved, she might just go straight for that.
Your own character. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just talking in general, but yeah, your character. I mean, I'm happy that everybody kind of has a clear idea. Guy, did you happen to watch the last episode that we did, or?
I never quite got around to watching the whole thing.
Yeah, it's
I,
an
I,
hour and a
I
half.
skimmed
So
through it. I
Yeah.
skimmed through it and kind of tried to catch the highlights of it.
yeah.
But,
Yeah, so near the end, we were talking about what characters we were thinking about making, and Kristi, you were thinking about some kind of magic user of sorts, maybe a sorcerer.
mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
And
Because I was going back, I was like, did I say sorcerer or wizard? Or I was like,
Sorcerer, yeah.
yeah.
I think so.
And Ethan, you had a clearer idea today of what you wanted to make.
Yeah, I think I'll go with kind of a mommy strider ranger.
Okay, so you're thinking
A ranger.
Ranger-ish.
Ranger.
Yes.
Stranger ranger.
Absolutely a stranger.
Stranger
yeah.
Ranger.
Yep.
Stranger Ranger Danger.
And then we have the bard, of course, who's going to be the party as well.
Yeah, Luke, our fourth guy, was thinking about being a bard.
Y'all are going to have y'all's hands full.
Yeah, I'm going to be herding cats depending on what guy makes as a character.
Yeah.
Boy.
So, talking about making characters, you guys have Roll20 accounts running already?
Yes, I do.
Shoot, hold on. I will in a moment.
Okay.
It's coming.
It takes 10 seconds.
Did I send you a link, Kristi, to the Roll20 account?
Yeah.
Alright.
Cool.
Yeah, if you just use that, it will be able to put you in. And we can start making some characters.
Ooh.
Woo! I get to tackle three of you at once, but at least I know one of you knows what you're doing. I'll let the audience decide which one it might be. So, but I have faith in everyone.
The faith is strong in this one.
Yep.
All right. I have an account. Yay.
Alright,
Yep.
and if you use that link that I sent you,
Yep. Already did.
Sweet.
Just coming in now. Bada bing, bada boom. Hey, tutorial? Nah.
Who needs a tutorial?
Yeah.
Tutorials are like instructions. We don't need those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. I can see a map.
Yeah, that will be the map.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold up. 1 second.
It's okay. Roll20 is sometimes a little particular.
Sometimes you gotta refresh it. Yeah.
Did you send the link to an exact map or something? I'm sorry.
It's
to the game.
Yeah.
Once you're in Roll20, hit join game, and it'll put you in the actual game. And the page we're on is a cool map.
Wait a second.
Let me see.
What's the name of it?
It should be called Swordfall.
Swordfall.
Yeah.
Ah.
If you don't, have it, I could probably send it to you.
Preferably, please. I'm sorry.
Alright. Let me
Technical difficulties.
yep, let me change the what we're streaming right now so people don't actually see how to join.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
It would be interesting to a point. Okay, cool. I'm not streaming any of that right now. And
All right.
so much clicking.
I uploaded a profile picture here. I don't know if it's going to pop up for you or not, but
No, I actually have.
Ah, there we go. Finally.
Yep. So I have most of that stuff turned off.
Okay.
Yeah. But I can. Hey, yeah. It's you. It's your pictures. Woo.
Sweet.
Guy looks a little different than I thought he would.
Yeah, a little bit more two-dimensional, just slightly. Okay, awesome. So I can actually start streaming that again.
Sweet.
Yep.
Here.
Cool.
Oh, wow. Just looking at everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And let me
It's a learning curve.
Yep. Cool. So welcome to Roll20. This is a sort of basic program in a way. It can get more complicated as you use it. My screen that the audience is looking at, it has a little bit more involved than probably the player's screen because I got all sorts of like little page toolbars and stuff. So to our right, on the right side of the screen, that's our chat screen. It's also where our dice rolls show up.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Looks like you guys know how to use the chat. So we're gonna start making characters, and you can actually find your character sheets where the third icon to the right, the thing that looks like a newspaper.
Icon to the right. Oh.
Yeah, and so there should be a folder that says world information, NPCs, and then player characters. And I have marked your names.
Okay, I have some random name over here.
Yep.
Yeah.
It makes random characters off the bat. So when you open it up, we're looking at the interface. It has a box with two boxes. That's how you make it a separate window. It has your character's name. It has, well, I don't think you have the show to players, but there's an edit button where if you hit that, it allows you to add a icon picture and type in more info, bio.
Yeah.
And then down below that, we have bio and info, which what we're looking at now. And the thing that we're really concerned about is character sheet. So, this is more or less what the standard D&D sheet looks like. Paper one's a little bit fancier in my opinion, or look a little bit better, but, you know, we have to do the electronic. So, let's just start here. So we have it on core, and this shows you all your core stats, what it affects. If you have inspiration, your armor class, your initiative, your speed, all that stuff. And I'm hopefully not losing Kristi at this point.
It just flew over me. I'm sorry.
Okay. So if I need to slow down, just be like, "Whoa, dude, slow down." So
Okay.
yeah, you can even say "dude."
Uh,
So let's look at this. We have a
Alright.
name. We can choose character names later. But first, we're gonna look at our core stats, which are on the very left of the page. And there's strength, dexterity,
Okay.
constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
And charisma. Okay.
Yep. And these are your main stats. This is what makes your character your character.
True. Okay.
So strength is your physical strength. It's important if you're using a lot of melee weapons, axes, swords, other stuff. Dexterity is how your character can move. It affects acrobatics. Also, it affects your aiming and how well you can like throw something.
Okay.
Constitution is your physical willpower, how easily you get sick. It affects your overall health. Intelligence is your basically book smarts. It's how you use your knowledge. It helps with history checks and like religion, things that you will learn. Wisdom is your intelligence, but how you actually use it in an activity. This is like your survival. It's based on wisdom. It's how you track things. It's like if you can perceive things well, or see if someone like using facial expressions to see people's emotions. This is some of the stuff that you can't learn in school, but you have some kind of knowledge to use it. And then charisma is how overall you interact with other people and creatures. Just because you have a really low charisma doesn't mean you're going to be like a horrible person, but it just might make you a little bit more awkward. And yeah, that is our main stats. And then we'll get into the rest of the stuff. Like saving throws, that's something completely different. The acrobatics, animal handling and stuff, those are skills that will be based on that. But when making a character, I usually do this, and the player handbook suggests that we first choose a race.
Alright.
Yep. So, if we're going to just do plain Jane Player's Handbook, we have humans, which are normal human beings. We have elves. We have half-elves, which is usually a human and elf have a baby and have a half-elf. We have half-orcs, which are an orc and a human see eye to eye, and sometimes. And they have a half-orc baby. And we have dwarfs. And we have gnomes. We have halflings. We have tieflings, which are a demon and a human have a baby, and out comes a tiefling. And finally...
Or a devil.
Or a devil, yeah. One of the two. And then we have dragonborns, which are not half dragons, but their own thing. And there's a lot more options too, but that's like the set that I'm going to be like, yeah, choose from these. We can get a little bit more complicated if you want, but in the player's handbook, which I know you have access to. Oh, hey, Guy, do you have access to a player's handbook for 5th edition?
Yeah, I've got the digital copy.
Okay. Cool.
Great.
Yeah. Anything strikes your interest as in race?
I'm going, as much as I would like to go full out crazy, I'm going for the plain Jane human.
Plain Jane human. Alright.
Yep.
Cool. So playing Jane Human, I always use the variant rules, which can be found on 31, because
31. Okay.
yeah, usually humans they get an increase to
One of every stat.
yeah, one of every stat basically, but this way you get increase to two stats that you want. You gain skill proficiencies in one skill, and I'll explain that when we get there. And then you get a feat, and a feat is something cool about your character that makes them pretty much rise above the rest of the plain human folk.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So once we get there, we will get there. But you're a human right now, so cool. Ethan, how about you?
I'm gonna go pretty archetypal and stereotypical with my ranger, and I'm gonna go wood elf.
Wood elf? Awesome.
Yes.
And Guy, you have any idea?
Oh, I've been actually looking at and reading this whole time. But now I know I'm kind of doing it a little backwards, where we're trying to choose race then class.
Yeah.
I have a class in mind, and I kind of want to choose appropriate race.
What class are you thinking?
I'm thinking of I kind of want to try monk. It sounds interesting.
Monk? Yeah. There.
Okay. There's a lot of races that fit with monks.
Yeah, I mean, human being the obvious one, but also, halflings are surprisingly good with monks.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you get like the sub archetype of I think Lightfoot elf halfling.
Mm-hmm. I imagine there's probably a few that are kind of polar opposite, but
yeah, like
probably make work if you really wanted to. Like half orc is probably not gonna.
Well, you could actually make that work, especially when you have a strength-based orc.
Yeah.
They do
something to keep in mind. What's fun about 5e in a bit is your starting race and all that. The numbers are pretty menial. As far as the abilities go, that's more of what I would focus on rather than just the +2 to this stat or +1 to that stat.
Right.
And then also, I mean, a couple numbers on a dice roll isn't going to make as much as a difference as you'd think. So, try and think what sounds fun. What kind of race do you want to be? That's going to inform and make your game a lot more fun than having just a couple more stats.
Yeah.
Ethan.
I mean, I definitely don't want to try and like min max here.
Yeah.
It's not as relevant as you'd think, and I highly doubt Paul's going to have us grinding through dungeon nonstop to where we're going to need to min max at all times or anything like that.
It seems like this group really wants to do more story based everything. So, like leveling, I'm going to make sure there's basically story arcs, and at the end of that story arc, when you fully finish it, you're going to level up. And so, like, as your character grows, as a character, you'll also grow in level too. So it will be interesting, and it is interesting because I think that story-based leveling is the most fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. Maybe I'll try doing a halfling.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Halfling monks. Yeah.
Halflings could be very fun.
Oh, halflings can be extremely fun. All right. So we have a human, and we're thinking sorcerer still, right, Kristi?
Yes.
Okay. So we know two things: you're a sorcerer and you're a human. So we're gonna look at your character sheet and see what that means for you. Um, so, as I said before,
Right.
um, humans get certain things to their trait. Let me read that out loud again so we can take it all in. And also, I am totally looking for it again because for some reason I turned a page and totally lost it. Oh, there we go. So,
Okay.
keep in mind that you get 2 core stats raised by 1. So you can
Mhm.
mark that down on a side or on a piece of paper what you actually want to raise by 1. And
Okay.
then
So, strength, dexterity, and all that, I get 2 extra points.
yeah,
Okay. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah,
right.
and
and it's on page. Was that 31
yeah,
in the player's
31.
handbook or 11? Yeah.
It, yeah.
Wait. As for the handbook, I don't know if I'm looking at the right one. Because I
It's
get the.
the page has like some optical glasses on the bottom as a picture. Is that the
Okay,
same?
that's further up.
Yeah, then if you scroll down to the bottom of page 1, there's a little text box by a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
that's
says very.
26 on my end. But
Oh yeah, 26 on the PDF's pages, and then 31 is the actual like number in the physical book.
Yeah,
oh,
I'm looking at a
ding
physical
dong,
book, so
Yep.
yeah.
ding dong.
I have the PDF open.
Yep.
Yep.
You will be my translator, Ethan. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's explain about proficiencies for a moment. So skill proficiencies are things that your character is better at than in any normal circumstances. And
Mhm.
how you actually show that you have a proficiency is that you just click the box in this version.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it does the math for you after you get actual stats and stuff. But I
Mhm.
would recommend right now just remembering that uh, you gain a proficiency in one stat, and then we look at
Mhm.
and then you look at what sorcerers give you.
Let's
Which,
see.
One thing, if you don't mind me
oh no, go ahead.
crunching in, if are we doing class backgrounds?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing class
Okay,
backgrounds.
because the class backgrounds have locked in proficiencies. So before choosing class proficiencies, usually want to do the background ones.
Okay, cool. Thank you for
That
telling me
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah, Xanathar
Yeah.
Guide is a little bit new to me, so
Yeah, there's the Xanathar character backstory, and then the player's handbook, or Xanathar's origins, and then the
yeah,
player's handbook background. So
Yeah, this is new to me, so I'm gonna be learning.
yep. Yeah, and so for me, it's page 100. Sounds like you guys are what at least 5 pages above that, so 95. It introduces
let me try backgrounds.
well, just in the player's
Gotta
handbook.
find this. Gotta go. Father. Are we looking for sorcerers right now, or are we
Yeah,
looking at?
sorcerers.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
I
that
think
was a
it's
mistake.
94. I could be wrong.
Yep, 94. in the
94.
PDF.
Okay, so you're actually 6 pages above the one in the book. Got that.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it gives you a quick build, which basically tells you, hey, it's a good idea to put high stats in these, and we'll get your
Okay,
stats in a moment.
Okay.
Yep. And then underneath that quick build is class features, which is something we'll have to pay attention to.
Mhm.
But right now, unless the background gives you more, let's see, Xanathar guy. We're looking at sorcerers, right?
Mhm.
Sorcerer origins. Sorry, I'm just trying to read this as quickly as I can.
No worries.
Okay.
I'm sure everybody's reading something right now.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh yeah.
I hate like
Oh yeah.
live streaming and being
But
like, okay, let's
but
look at all this and
yeah, I'm pretty sure Xanathar did a decent job of just having add-ons to the player's handbook as far as subclasses go.
yeah.
And that's
I don't see any
50.
extra gained proficiencies,
No.
so that's good.
Yeah, the only other skills and proficiencies would be from a character background and
Yeah.
origins and stuff.
Yep. Okay. So let's do a few things here, Kristi.
All right.
Okay. So in the top box where it says saving throws.
Saving throws, top box.
Yep. In the boxes, you get proficiency in 2 saving throws, so you get to check these boxes. Constitution and Charisma.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly right. So that means anytime you use these as a save, so like let's just say that you're drinking someone and someone slips something in your drink, I'll be like, hey, you're gonna have to make a Constitution save. You have an added amount to that roll each and every time you roll it. So it's pretty cool.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? I'm lost.
Oh, did I totally completely lose you there?
Yes.
Alright, so
I'm sorry.
a proficiency means that your character's better at that, and you get to add a proficiency bonus, which actually
Okay.
levels up with your character, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
And so, anytime you do either charisma or constitution, you have a bonus to it. Yeah, and
Okay,
that's
I get it.
basically what the proficiency means. I mean,
Okay.
it almost doesn't matter since you just check the box and forget about it, but I like explaining these things anyways because I'm so used to playing pen and paper instead of electronic. So, anyways, let's actually make numbers for your main stats so we can start filling things in. How I do this is that I prefer the way of rolling 4d6 and taking the top 3 of the numbers to get a stat. There are also other ways to do this, but this is my preferred way, so everybody can actually have a pretty decent character. So we're gonna roll 20 now. Yay! So how you do that is there's a command, and it's is that /roll? Yeah, it's /roll, and then you put a space in, and you put in
4d6 k3.
Yeah, and you put in that command after the /roll space.
Okay, so where's
Nice.
Oh, what's the K3? What's the K?
Keeps the best 3.
Yeah.
Ah, I gotcha.
Yep.
wait, maybe I. Nope. 1 second. There we
So,
go.
I mean, I could probably just I
so-
can do that on my own.
Yeah.
I don't need to retype it.
So just /roll. Okay.
/roll space 4d6 K3.
So it should be /roll. That is
Yeah.
a /, right?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Let's see if I have this right. I'm gonna try it. There we go.
Yeah, that's absolutely
Yay,
correct.
got a decent first roll.
Yeah.
It says
Alright.
unrecognized command.
Um.
Do you have to put it?
So it's just /roll without the quotation marks, and then you add
And
that
space.
4D. Yeah. Then a space. Then the 4-letter D. 6 K. Yeah. Just what Guy did, but without the quotation marks.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
gotcha. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
All right.
Oh, I got a 9.
I got a terrible roll. My first roll is good, but I didn't do the K3.
Yeah.
Okay,
Your
You
first.
could take away the first. You could take away the 1. So
Yeah.
it'd be
So
14.
it's 14. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Okay,
I'm gonna,
so
I'm gonna record
So
that.
basically,
Somewhere.
the idea behind that notation of 4d6, it means you took 4 6-sided dice.
Yep.
And you rolled them, and you kept the top 3.
uh,
Yeah. God,
So
I
4
love people who know what
D6,
they're doing.
and then
Yay.
K3.
Yeah, and then that K3 is keeps top 3. Yep.
Yep.
So maybe we should have one person roll all their dice. So
Yeah, I was gonna have Kristi do it first, and she's the newest and still learning and everything.
okay.
So
So I
you-
already rolled once. So
Yep,
what
you
does that
need-
mean? When
that means that you have a 13 to put in any of your core stats.
okay. Now I
So
gotcha.
you roll
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5
can
more
just-
times.
yep, you can take note of what they are
Okay.
now, and you can rearrange them later.
Yep.
Paul's not mean. He doesn't make us be like, well, that's your strength.
I could be
Okay.
so mean, but
Oh, did you want to be a
Okay, so-
charismatic character? Too bad.
yeah, and you can
That's
always hit the up arrow on your keyboard to get the same command as last time.
Yeah, I just copied and pasted that.
Yeah,
Okay,
13,
so
12.
I've
So
got
far,
a
so
total-
good.
Okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have to do this a total of 4 more times. Okay.
Yep.
Hey,
These are pretty good.
don't jinx me yet. There's gonna be 1.
No,
Nice.
that's even better.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay, and the last one.
Not bad.
Wow, nothing below 10.
Holy cow.
That is
Those are
awesome.
You have a
Really good rolls.
balanced and pretty good character base
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Um,
so wait,
Okay.
Kristi's starting off at level 2 or 3 here.
I'll take it.
That's good. Take them. Take them.
yeah.
Okay, 16 is going straight to my charisma.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the quick build for anybody who's watching and wondering, charisma is usually the suggested one for your highest, followed by constitution. Usually most characters, it's whatever their main stat is, and then constitution because it affects health. My suggestion would be, since usually you're starting off with a weapon that you use dex,
Mhm.
put a high one in dex. But
Yeah.
you didn't
Okay.
roll really, you rolled pretty well, so your character's gonna start off pretty good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Another thing
Yeah.
to keep in mind with dexterity, if you're using medium or light or no armor, dexterity adds to like your defense.
And your initiative.
Yep.
Mhm.
So it
Yep.
can be basically how hard you are to hit, and then how fast you move.
Intelligence is getting a high one.
Mm-hmm. That's it's good for generally any kind of magic users. You want your intelligence.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and always a
Architecture.
thing to keep in mind that, like, if you ever want a multi-class as a wizard, having high intelligence is always good. Or just having 13s in general in your stats, those are good for multi-classing. So.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, I know we haven't looked at the skills yet, but looking at the actual page with all the skills next to the main stats, you can kind of see which skills related to which stats. Like, Arcana is intelligence, that's obviously magic, and like perception's wisdom, performance, charisma, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Cool.
Man, the last time I've seen anyone roll that good was actually my wife on Real Dice. And she ended up rolling one character who had no stats below 14.
Wow.
And it was
Wow.
super crazy. So yeah, let's get on with more of your proficiencies. So your skill proficiencies, as a human, you get to choose one of any of the skills, and then as a sorcerer, you get to choose two from this list. So the list is Arcana. That's basically how you recognize magic spells, things like that. Deception, how well you lie to other people.
Oh,
Insight,
that one's getting it.
well, that's one. Insight, that's how you like read people's emotions, see their like inner motives, especially if you're going to play a lot of poker. That's a good one. Um, Intimidation, how well you frighten people with your presence. Persuasion, how you persuade people, barter, etc., etc. And then the last one is religion, how well you recognize religious symbols or other people's gods or cults or whatever.
Okay. I know this sounds mean, but persuasion and deception are probably
No,
the
like
two.
how you've been describing your character, it sounds reasonable. Like, and plus you're playing up to your character's strength. So you get to choose any other skill on that list as a human.
Okay, one more skill.
Yep.
Okay.
And if you have a question about that skill, I can probably answer that.
Probably insight. It. Um. Oh yeah, you also said I got a 2-point bonus with the skills being a human and mage, right?
Yeah, you get to choose. I think it's one for two separate stats. I think that's what the core says.
That'll work. Oh, that'll work. I'll balance that out and make everything no less than 13.
That's a really good idea, actually. So you will have a character who can multiclass as basically anything in the future, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably the wisest decision that I've seen a new player make.
Yeah.
Okay, we will fill in the rest of the stuff a little later, but first let's get guys stuff going.
Okay, I guess I gotta roll some dice here.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's exciting times.
All right.
Oh,
All right, so
one.
we're just gonna start with. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, one homebrew thing that I usually do is that if you roll below if you roll 7 or below, re-roll the stat. because I don't want anyone
Okay.
to have like a bum stat and be like, I really don't like this.
Yeah, just put
Yeah.
your like 4 in intelligence and or
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd
I
be
technically
horrible.
can't be charmed. My intelligence is 2.
Sorry, I am too dumb for that. Thank you much.
That'd be horrible. Monk
All right,
like
let's get
4
some numbers
intelligence.
I am playing a monk right now that has really high wisdom, but her intelligence is not so good.
Okay. Oh, got some high numbers. Got one low number. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, that's actually
Fine.
pretty good. I mean, 8 is
Yeah.
never a death sentence. It's just a slight nuisance.
Yep.
All right. So I kind of got an idea here.
So, what class are you doing?
I'm monk.
Monk. Yeah.
So I'm
and-
definitely gonna be putting some focus on dexterity and wisdom.
Yeah. So, just for people who are following along with us who want to know the quick build, the player's handbook suggests that first you put the highest ability score into dexterity, and then the next one into wisdom. Mainly because monks have abilities that use a DC score, a dice challenge, or what is the other word for it that people use?
Dice check.
Dice check. That
Yep.
people have to roll like strength checks against. And the higher your wisdom, the higher that number will be. And then, yeah, of course, always put a high one in Constitution because that's always good. And
All right.
I think
Picking
you're.
them out right now.
Yep.
Let's see. Got that. 15, 15, 13, 12, 12, and 8. What's gonna be my bum stat?
Be the silent monk and put it in charisma.
Yeah, I was thinking about putting charisma as my low one.
Yeah.
You're starting to sound
It's nice to have a little bit of intelligence.
Yeah.
Either that, I was thinking of either charisma or intelligence, but
Yeah.
we already have a charismatic character, so you know, we'll do a little bit of. Yeah, so I think I'll do that. So I got put a 12 in strength, I put a 15 in dex, 13 in constitution, 12 in intelligence, 15 in wisdom, and charisma. I'm really not a smooth talker.
You don't have to. You just have to like hit things.
I know. I mean, I'm not there to reason with you so much as to just be like, hey, stop, and do something about it.
Right,
You're not
and
gonna be like standing on the Pope, like, well, the podium, be like.
Having some intelligence means I'm not just going to be a total, dumb character that just goes along with whatever.
Alright, let's find your halfling stuff here, which is somewhere within the book that I can never find. There we go.
Yeah.
So, are you choosing a Lightfoot or a stout halfling?
Oh, geez. I gotta look up what that was.
So,
okay.
if I remember right, it's page 22 on the PDF or page 28 if you're in the book.
Halfling, here we go. Okay. So we have. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Nope. Back up. Lightfoot. Okay. So we have Lightfoot is charisma is higher and naturally stealthy, and stout is more constitution, more resilience.
And also, overall halflings get +2 through their dexterity.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, oh, that's
Yep.
nice.
Very Dexy.
Oh yeah, I've already got it. Oh, okay, yeah. So I got an extra +2 to Dex.
Yep.
On top of being a monk, I have a +2 saving throw.
Yep. But your actual core stat
So,
goes up by 2. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's neat. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, dang. Does that mean I start at 17 dexterity?
Yep.
That's wicked.
And
All right. So.
And your if you go with stout, your constitution goes up by 1, which if you imagine yourself more on the front lines, I would go with the stout one. But if you imagine yourself more as the kind of ninja-esque monk that like drops from the shadows, I'd go with Lightfoot.
And don't they have like little unique perks to them too? I can't remember.
Yeah. So the Lightfoot has the natural stealthy. You attempt to hide, even when you're obscured by. Yeah, you can hide even if you're when you're obscured by a creature that's size larger. So basically, if you're behind a human, you can hide, which is crazy. Or wait a minute, is it? Are they also considered medium, or are they small?
They're small.
Yeah, I believe all halflings are considered small.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's the whole fun of that is you can blend into a crowd basically underfoot.
Yep. And then the stout one, you get resilience, which when you're making saving throws against poison, you get advantage, which means you get to roll do 2 d20s instead of just 1, and you have resistance against poison damage, which is pretty awesome.
So you can drink with dwarves.
Basically.
The constitution and resilience of stout sounds nice, but I'm kind of feeling like going with a Lightfoot character.
Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling like I'm going to be a little bit more of this sneaky monk.
Yeah, so that gives you the increase to your charisma score by 1.
Hey, I'm slightly less dumb.
Well, it's not dumb, just
or
socially
a little bit
awkward.
More talkable.
Yeah, socially awkward. That's what I mean.
People might call you dumb, but it's not actually your intelligence.
Right.
Yeah, it's just how well you speaks.
It's like this one friend of mine. Whenever we play any kind of, whenever we have any kind of game night, somebody who first meets him might think, "Oh wow, this guy's pretty dumb," but then you play some sort of strategy game against him, and he totally just owns the whole table.
Yeah, it's totally smarts in a different way, and we accept everyone because everyone's a special person. Yep.
Yay.
So.
All right. So I'm a Lightfoot.
Yep. And you're your saving throw in strength and dexterity. It looks like. In your skills for a monk, you get to choose from 2 of these: acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, or stealth.
I am kind of thinking of going the more stealth route.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking of acrobatics. It's kind of nice to have, and it would make sense for a monk, I think.
Mm-hmm.
To be acrobatically nimble, I guess. Now, I was also looking at would it be now the monks also I noticed they have some self-healing. Now, would it be totally nonsensical to have put points into medicine where I could actually help others, or
well, first you actually don't have the choice out of the
okay, so
out
this
of these
is
sets.
set in stone thing.
Yeah, this is just choose 2 from the list that's on the page.
All right.
But if you do get a chance of putting a proficiency in medicine, that's more like putting bandages, cleaning wounds, checking if somebody has an actual like medical condition. It's different from like actual healing or the spell like cure, which gets rid of physical elements. So yeah. Anyways, that list again was acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, and stealth.
All right, we're gonna go. History, insight. I think I'm gonna go acrobatics, insight, and stealth.
You only get to choose two,
Oh,
actually.
two?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do acrobatics and stealth.
Yeah, sounds good. When we get to backgrounds, you'll have more skill proficiencies. So,
Okay.
but we're gonna move on to Ethan if he hasn't already figured out half his stuff already.
I mean, I have, but it's fine.
Yeah.
All right. I do have to ask though, because my first test roll of that 15. Can I keep that?
You can. Yes. Yes, you can keep that.
Thanks.
I'll be nice.
I'm gonna roll 5 more times. Thank you, or great GM Lord. Okay, so 14. That was a GIF. That I lost that on my copy and paste. Sorry, hold on one sec.
I'm afraid.
Lilu asking help me. By the way, it's just Lilu asking help.
Yeah, I'm always afraid to click on pictures that some people send me.
Oh my.
Yeah, in our other group, we kind of get a little crazy. So.
Oh my gosh, I got a 16.
Whoa.
Oh.
There we go. 9.
Not horrible.
15 again. Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
I need one more.
Nice.
2 more, right?
12.
12. All right.
If you let me keep the 15.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good roll.
Yeah, those are super good.
That is crazy good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me
do it.
go to the character sheet here. So I got 15, 14, 16, 9, 15, and 12. Ow. Okay.
Yeah. Sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah.
And you are doing a winger.
I am.
Or as other people say it, ranger.
Yeah, but those people.
Yep. And so, just for those following at home or whatever, the player's handbook basically says put your highest in dexterity, and then followed by wisdom, because rangers can actually be magic users too, and their magic is based off their wisdom. And then it says, alternatively, you might want to put it in your highest into strength if you're going to be like a super strengthy ranger guy. And
yeah, some rangers like to go to sword fighting.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. And you are an elf. And you said you're going to be
not just any elf.
A wood elf.
A wood elf.
Woo!
An elf out in the woods, and the wood is.
The most woodsy woods elf.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you get to add 1 to your wisdom.
Yes, I do.
Let's see.
Oh.
And then
1 to my wisdom and 2 to my dex. If I recall. Let me look it up here.
Yeah, that is
2 dex.
That is correct.
And then my speed goes up to 35. But we'll get to that later.
Yep.
And do you want me to wait to fill in the other stuff besides the core stats? Just not touch it yet, right?
Oh,
I'm totally fine waiting.
No, you can do your skills and your saving throws. Because I'm going to work with Kristi with her background, so we can give her more cool stuff. And
Cool.
yeah, I think this is Kristi's. Yep, because nothing's lower than 12. Everything's 13 or higher, which is
I know.
insane, especially for a level 1 character.
I will take it.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a good time.
Mhm.
So for backgrounds, you can either randomly choose these, or we can work out on some kind of level. Backgrounds are basically, they give you a little bit more skill proficiencies. They give you a little bit more items in the beginning, and they also give you a relatively good idea of what your character is. So we have both the player's handbook and now Xanathar's Guide to Everything to deal with. But let's see what Xanathar actually has in store for us. Cool. Alright. So, if you note on your core stats, you have stuff to your far right that says personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. And these are basically things that we pull from your background.
Okay.
Xanathar's Guide gives us a little bit more for a ranger, which, if you go to your bio section, there's room for more of that to expand. And yeah, I mean, we'll make your character have a lot of background. Of course, if you do not like any of the options, I always feel like if you want to fill in the blank, you can. Yeah. So, the background in the player's handbook. I can't remember how many there are, but I could probably look and count. But no, I'm not going to count. I'm just going to list them off. There's the acolyte. That's basically someone who's lived a very enclosed temple life. There's the charlatan, someone who grew up on the streets. No, that's not the charlatan. The charlatan is
I mean, a charlatan can grow up on the streets.
Yeah.
But doesn't have to have grown up on the streets.
Yeah, there's somebody who's kind of shady, in a way.
Yeah.
Criminal is someone with a criminal background.
It just means they got caught.
Yeah. There's entertainer, which means that you previously were just like kind of your run-of-the-mill person who went around to tavern to tavern. There's folk hero, which is like your last adventure was also the stepping stone of you becoming an actual adventurer. Like maybe you accidentally saved a town, or you did a deed that's noteworthy somewhere in the world. There's the guild artisan, which means, hey, you were part of a guild, and you may have a useful background in like stonemasonry or brewing beer. There's hermit, which means you were kind of a loner for a long while before you decided to do this adventurer. Noble, so that means, basically you are or were part of the noble family. Outlander, which is somebody who basically grew up in the wild or with wolves. You know, Sage, which is someone who spent most of their like career, instead of like going to Broward College or whatever, they spent time like researching stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sailor, which is somebody who spent time in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Soldier, that means you started with a military career. Urchin, this is the one that you grew up on the streets, usually as a child.
Wait, what now? You kind of bleeped.
Urchin?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Urchin, think of Aladdin.
I would think. I would have gone with Hermit, but that makes no sense with the charisma. So I would probably say Urchin.
Cool.
Oh, good, because I was thinking of taking Hermit.
Okay.
So, let's flip
Because,
to right.
I don't know,
page.
that sounds very convoluted. I've got high charisma, yet I'm a hermit.
Yeah, there are some
Whereas,
things. Oh, go ahead.
whereas being the I guess the urchin, you could learn to have good charisma, and because it would be a survival skill for getting what you need, having grown up on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't like the urchin, we could always hammer something together that's a little bit better. But this is what's in front of our faces right now, so we'll see how much you like it. For me, it's on page 141. I think in the PHP Player's Handbook digitally, it would be 135.
Okay. Scrolling there right now. You said which page on your end?
141.
141.
Yep.
It's probably gonna be like 136 or something.
It's there's 6 pages behind, so it would be 135.
It's like
I
5
think.
or 6.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
141 on your end?
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
That's 133.
133. Wow. They're. I'll have to double check that PDF and see what it's. Maybe it's taken out all like the bright, colorful like between chapter things. That's the only thing I can think of.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as you can see, that the urchin gives you these 2 skill proficiencies: sleight of hand and stealth. And you can check those if you already don't have them.
1 second.
Okay.
I am checking those. Yes.
Yes.
Why not? The more the merrier.
It also gives you a feature, which we can get into that later. But the most important things are the personal trait, ideal, bond, and flaw. These are to help you further in playing your character. Like, as I said, if you don't like any of these, we can make something up. And also, if you really want to get a little random and crazy, we can roll like dice and see what you get.
Okay.
So I'm giving you the choice right now of choosing or rolling.
You know what? Let's go all random. Roll.
Okay. So first would be your
I'm probably gonna shoot myself later in the foot by doing this, but
yeah, as I said, this is something we can change. This is basically to help you, remind you of your character and like why your character's the way they are. Um, and actually, I think Xanathar might have more. Let me double check here. Because there might be something a little bit more juicy. Ugh.
Juicy.
Let's see. Sorry for the silence.
Oh, you're good.
Well, that's cute. Actually expands on... Whoa! I'm sorry if I blasted anyone's ears with that.
That wasn't loud.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I have no idea what that actually was. Just sounded like my phone was making noise just to make noise. Oh, it was Google Maps saying, "Congratulations, I have a new badge for being a nerd." And
Thanks, Google.
thanks, Google, I have a new badge. Yay. Yeah, so what Xanathar actually adds is why you became, like, a sorcerer, or why you became an urchin, which I think is interesting. And we'll do that too, like, why you became something. And we'll do that both for your sorcerer and your urchin pass. But first, let's do the personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. So, roll me a 1d8. You can do this one of two ways. You can do the /roll space 1, the letter D, and 8. Or, if you look at this handy sidebar on your left where the map is, there's something that looks like a D20, and it will bring up a menu, and you can just hit the 8, or D8.
I got a 5.
5. On here,
Yep.
for Urchint, it says personality trait. I eat like a pig and have bad manners.
You know what? Go for that.
Do you want to know your choices here?
Maybe so.
Alright, so... Oh boy. So, the first one is, I hide scraps of food and trinkets away in my pockets. Number 2 is, I ask a lot of questions.
That would be me.
Number 3 is, I like to squeeze into small spaces where no one else can get me. 4, I sleep with my back to the wall or a tree, with everything I own in a bundle in my arms. Number 5, of course, I eat like a pig and have bad manners. Number 6, I think anyone who's nice to me is hiding evil intent. 7, I don't like to bathe. And then finally, I bluntly say what other people are hinting at or hiding.
Okay. So I did roll, but I'm really liking that I ask lots of questions.
Yeah, you can take that one. I mean, as I said, I'm not going to totally force you what the dice say. It's just a fun suggestion to see what you get.
I would be the one to ask ridiculous questions, tons of questions.
Yep.
All day, every day.
Alright, next one. It's your ideal.
Okay.
This can either be done with a roll, it can be based on your alignment, if you've chosen alignment yet, or you can just choose. So, what do you want to do?
So far, what I have for just like an ideal for the alignment was true neutral, but I'm not sure yet. So it's D20 for this one?
D6.
Not D20, I'm sorry. D6.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay. You'll get to roll that D20 at some point.
Okay, so I got a 3.
So 3. So your ideal is change, which technically is a chaotic one, but if you like the sound of it, it might be yours. So the low are lifted up, and the high and mighty are brought down. Change is the nature of things.
You know, I grew up as an urchin, so I might be ideal to that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Do you want to hear the rest of them?
I see it right here. But go ahead. Why not?
Okay. So the first one, technically this is good aligned. All people, rich or poor, deserve respect. That's a nice one. The next one is community. Technically it's lawful. We have to take care of each other because no one else is going to do it. And then 3's change, we already read that. 4 is retribution. The rich need to be shown what life and death are like in the gutters. Oof, that's harsh. Of course, that's the evil option. This is the neutral one. It's number 5. People. I help the people who help me. That's what keeps us alive. And then the very last one, which is not marked with any alignment whatsoever, is aspiration. I'm going to prove that I'm worthy of a better life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Change.
Yeah.
I'll go chaotic. See what madness it brings.
Chaotic neutral is not a bad way to go about it. How I personally play that is that I don't really have any rule set, but I kind of go things by emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, like, maybe in the future it wasn't the best decision at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, bonds is the next one. If you want to roll, you can do D6. If you want to choose, we can just read them out loud and have you,
Why not read this one out loud?
Okay. And bond is usually why you were sticking to the adventure life and not going back to your past, basically. So the first one is, my town or city is my home, and I'll fight to defend it. Then, I sponsor an orphanage to keep others from enduring what I was forced to endure. 3 is, I owe my survival to another urchin who taught me to live on the streets. 4 is, I owe a debt I can never repay to the person who took pity on me. 5 is, I escaped my life of poverty by robbing an important person, and I'm wanted for it. And 6, no one else should have to endure the hardships I've been through.
Oh, dang.
I have to say that rich one makes a pretty good, plot hook for me. But,
I know.
Yeah.
You know what? As much as I'd hate to be chased by the law, I think that'd be the more interesting one.
Whichever you want.
I'm going to be shooting myself in the foot for this. I know it's... I'll choose 5.
Awesome. We'll talk a little bit privately about that and about what happened.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then your flaw, something that just makes your character a little flawed.
Oh boy.
Read it out loud or roll to choose.
Well, let's go and I guess read that one out loud as well.
Okay. So the first one. If I'm outnumbered, I will run away from the fight. That seems. I don't know if that's really a flaw. That just seems common sense. Second one. Gold seems like a lot of money to me, and I'll do just about anything for more of it.
Oh,
And whatever that is up to you. 3. I will never fully trust anyone other than myself. 4. I'd rather kill someone in their sleep than fight fair. 5. It's not stealing if I need it more than someone else. Ooh. And then 6. People who can't take care of themselves get what they deserve.
Oh.
Whoa.
Okay. I'm going to be shooting myself in the foot again. I'm going to be re-rolling the d6.
Okay.
Okay, I got a 4.
I'd rather kill someone in their sleep than fight fair.
I'll go for it.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good.
I mean, in a way, that is pretty smart.
It kind of goes along with everything else that you're going for, though. So, I would say this is kind of like your chaotic neutral character.
Yeah, I would say so too.
I know the character sheet does not have the space for it yet, but once you're done typing your flaws, we'll go to the bio section, and we will go into more of your past. But before we do that, we've been streaming for about, 2 hours now. So if...
Holy cow.
Yeah, if anybody needs to take a break, just in general, let's do that right now, and then we can continue. If anybody needs to leave for the night, just tell me, and you can get off in the safe space. Yeah. So about a 5-minute.
I might actually.
Oh, you
I
might
actually have to.
Okay, cool. I mean, we can
work
continue.
The thing tomorrow.
Yeah, we can continue making your character tomorrow, and I can work with the other two.
All right. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can hang out.
Well, it's like 11 o'clock there, right?
Yep, yeah. It's near.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, oh, hey, we've almost been on here for like 2 hours. Let's kind of stop and take a break and maybe leave if we have to.
All right, then. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. We actually have gone pretty far in your character. There's a few things like character race feats and stuff that we'll do, and equipping your character and stuff. As for me, I have to take a little bio break, so we'll be back in about 5. Sound good?
All right.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye. All
So here we are.
Here we are. The guy show +1.
So let's see. We have you are Ethan, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Gats is not my name. Ethan is my name.
Gats makes me think of Guts from
Berserk.
Berserk, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely guts from Berserk.
Is that your picture there in the group chat there?
Yeah, that's guts there in group chat, and that's also guts in Roll20. So
Nice. It was a crazy series. The outtakes was hilarious.
yeah,
King
I
Stuff outtakes. Oh, I'm sure you've seen them.
yeah I got introduced to the series. We picked up like one of the discs, or, the first episode from Hollywood Video. We're like, "Hey, what's this?" And then watched all of that, and then I've bought almost all the manga and the new digital movies, but I cannot stand the new series. I'm trying to pretend it doesn't exist.
I haven't even taken a single look at
Don't,
anything of the new series.
just don't.
I won't.
The new
Uh,
movies, not bad.
But
Those aren't bad, but the new series is.
I will say, having read a little bit of the manga beyond where the original series ends,
Yeah,
um, I can see why they stopped animating it at that point.
yeah, it
Holy
gets
cow,
a
it gets
little messed up. Just a
so
little
messed
bit.
up.
Yeah,
It gets so messed up. It's like, oh wow, they wouldn't be able to air this on TV in Japan.
I mean
And they're a little looser with some things there. What they can air on TV. I'm like, nope, this would not be allowed.
the end of the Golden Arc with that whole God Hand scene and everything going bad
Mm.
is bad enough, but
Oh,
like that's
oh,
not even bad compared to
that's
the.
just brushing the surface of what's to come.
Yeah, so makes
I
sense.
mean, the part with the fairies that would kidnap the children and
Mm-hmm.
how that ends. Oh my
Yep.
gosh, I'm not gonna spoil for anybody watching, but um, yeah, you know,
Kids aren't safe from death in these
no,
books. Let's just say
no,
that.
they're not. I mean, Guts basically becomes a walking human demon or demon cursed human
Yep.
is what he is. He literally is that.
Yep.
And,
He's a
and the
demon
curse
cursed human.
follows him wherever he goes, and whoever happens to be there is probably gonna be caught up in the aftermath.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I have Punisher on the mind because I recently finished that on Netflix. He's basically
This is
a
second time I've heard about it today.
mid fantasy Punisher who hunts demons and devils.
Yeah,
So
yeah, pretty much.
imagine if the Punisher's family was killed by demons and devils. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna kill every demon and devil in the world now.
And he wields a sword that's as big as a longboard.
Yep.
Like not longboard like skateboard longboard. I mean like surfing longboard.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I actually did. Um, I've done a little bit of 3D modeling, mechanical design type of stuff.
Oh, cool.
I actually did a 3D model of, depending on how they decided to animate it. The sword kind of has different proportions and different
Yeah.
scenes. So
Back in the
I just
cellular
like,
art.
okay, this scene right here, these are the estimated proportions of this sword, and I just sort of got a visual idea and then modeled it out, and I think it came out to like 400 or 500 pounds that sword would weigh.
At least.
Yeah. Or was it 700 pounds? It was some ridiculous amount. Um, but this is first of all it's anime. Second of all it's guts. So
Yeah. Yeah, you've got a super badass grit monster. And I do like how they explained it though. Like his hand has a magnet in it, so he can even hold on to the handle of the thing, like the robot hand.
yeah.
Like the blacksmith had to make him a hand so he could even hold the damn thing. But yeah, it's awesome.
Yep. But honestly, for the friend of mine that first showed it to me, he was like, "All right, I'm going to show you Berserk, and the only reason I'm showing you this series so we can watch the English dub outtakes. And I enjoyed the series, but man, did I enjoy the outtakes.
Yeah, outtakes were amazing. The manga is way better than the series, of course. Especially I mean, you said you read some after. Have you read the Golden Arc? Like,
I read. I can't remember how much I read. It was probably at least 8 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta
sorry.
say, the '90s anime, they did a pretty good job, especially given their budget. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of content that's missing or brushed over because you have to do
Yes.
that, of course. But the manga, I love just rereading that Golden Arc every year or two. It's really good.
Berserk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
I warned him not to look at the new anime. It's not okay.
It's not okay, okay?
It's not. I can show you some good YouTube videos that explain
Just
why
stay
you
off,
shouldn't
stay off
watch it.
stay off the new Berserk series drugs.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad for you.
I will take note of that. Yeah. So we almost got Kristi's stuff done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I believe she's the newest to all this and trying to pick up the most.
Yeah.
So
Which is
that's good.
Yeah. And for her sorcery, we need to do more background stuff like
What kind of dragon, or
yeah.
if you're wild magic or dragon.
Actually, Xanathar has more to it than that. So
Ooh.
yeah,
I haven't looked at the sorcery stuff yet.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So talking about that, why don't we work on guys a little bit more? If you haven't been like following along and doing that kind
I've been working on it on my own a little bit.
Awesome, cool. And Ethan,
So
if you want to like just chug along and do it yourself, I have faith in you.
It's totally. I have like while we've been doing this, I've like basically written down a bunch of stuff on a Word doc. But if you want to have us go over the stuff on the stream, I'm totally cool doing that too.
Yeah. Like once we're done with
I'm gonna put that ball in your court. If you want to stream it or not, I'm cool either way.
Once we're done with Guy here, yeah, we can totally just like review what you did and how you did it.
Cool.
Sounds good to me. So Guy, which background are you taking?
I'm taking Hermit.
Hermit.
Just kind of halfling that left society generally, and went to basically pursue a spiritual enlightenment of sorts.
Cool. So, and it looks like you already chose a personality trait there.
Yep.
So
yeah.
You can read it out loud.
Yeah, that first one there would have been, if I was rolling, it would have been a 1. Searching for spiritual enlightenment.
Yeah, that's your life of seclusion. So that's cool. And then it looks like your personality trait's number 5, so I'm oblivious to etiquette and social expectations.
Yep.
Cool. So, like, somebody's gonna stick out their hand to, to, like, shake it, and you'll probably be like, what?
Look down at their hand, and look back up at them, and I don't have any money.
That will be fun. And your ideal is.
Yeah, it's like I got to put something a little bit that I can have a little bit of fun and quirkiness with here.
Oh yeah, of course. It,
I
you
feel
know,
like that'd be a nice little quirky hint to throw in there. Just the total obliviousness to the norm.
I kind of like how it's kind of a counterbalance to Kristi's character, where she's like all with it with the social like manners and stuff, and your character's gonna be like, I don't get this, guys. Why are we in chairs eating at this table? Why are we at a table?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how far
We're
you're
going
gonna.
into the
Yeah.
going into the tavern, and it's like I'll be hopping up into the window and, hey, get down here. What? This was quicker.
I'll be out after I eat something. We eat on plates here, sir. What?
Yeah.
It looks like you have free thinking for your ideal, so inquiry and curiosity are the pillars of progress.
So a little chaotic there, but just kind of open to all. Like, you're saying that, and I'm gonna hear what you're saying. I'm not gonna blow you off. And if I come up with ideas or whatnot.
Yeah, it's
kind of free thinking.
that the idea that there is no stupid idea. Just kind of go with it. Yeah, that's cool. Have you decided on a bond?
Let's see. Where was I here? I think I had. Yeah, I was thinking of. I don't know. I was thinking about going for what, number 3 there. Still seeking enlightenment, and still seeking the enlightenment I pursued in my seclusion, and it eludes me.
So
it's
you're
kind of
looking
I'm
towards like
still
bigger picture.
searching.
That's cool. Yeah. So like your adventuring is more of a spiritual quest than a actual like quest. Cool.
Yeah, like, okay, this is a path in which might lead towards the what I am seeking.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit selfish, but just kind of like, okay, I'm here along for the ride because I think this is gonna get me where I'm going.
Cool. And then a flaw.
So being that I'm seeking this enlightenment in myself, that's obviously something I'm kind of eager for, and I try not to be too eager. But if something pops up, it's number 5 there. I'd risk too much to uncover a lost bit of knowledge.
That makes for an interesting character.
Just like something is right there, and it's like other people could be like, "Hey, look, we gotta go," and I'm like, "No, it's just come on, guys."
But
it's
this
right
is,
there.
It's the key. I don't care if the walls are closing in.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome.
It's the Indiana Jones hat,
Yeah.
Wall is coming down. I need to reach under and grab it. So yeah, that's what I came up with there.
Yep.
Searching for enlightenment and oblivious to etiquette and social expectations. Free thinking, still seeking enlightenment, and I'd risk too much to get it.
So we're gonna go a little bit more into your monk background too, and your hermit background.
Okay.
And as I was gonna say before the break, there is a whole bio section. If you look at your character sheet right next to the core, which is in red, you can click the bio, and that basically,
this right here, cool.
That gives you more room to write about your character stuff. One box is appearance, one says allies and organizations, additional features and traits, treasure, and character backstory. With this, you
I
can
feel
put
like with
this.
allies and organizations, that'd just be independent.
Yeah. Well,
Realistically,
you are a monk, so you were in a monastery at
yeah,
some
I
point
guess I
in your
would have
life.
been. I would have studied. Yeah, so
Yep.
that makes sense.
So, actually, so this
Whether
book.
I left on a good note or a bad note,
Yeah. So this book actually, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, is a new book that just came out for D&D
Yeah.
5e, and it expands on all the classes and also your backgrounds. So, as a monk, we're gonna look at the monastery that you went to. And also, like the backgrounds, you can either roll for this, or I can just read out the options. You can choose whatever you want. Or if nothing fits, we could always make something up. So,
Yeah.
here we go. Um, so
Haven't
this
even
is
changed
this
my
is
name from the
basically asked.
default one yet.
Yeah. So this is just asking the question of what sort of place was your monastery, how it contributed to your experience, if it did. Um, so do you want to roll, or do you just want to hear the options?
Mind if I hear him?
Sure. I do not mind doing a little reading. So, monasteries. The first option is your monastery is carved out of a mountainside where it looms over a treacherous pass. That's a pretty cool visual.
Mm-hmm.
Second, your monastery is high in the branches of an immense tree in the Feywild. Third one is your monastery was founded long ago by a cloud giant and is inside a cloud castle that can be reached only by flying.
Wow. I don't think I'm going to be in that one.
Oh, it gets better, man. It gets better. The fourth one is your monastery is built beside a volcanic system of hot springs, geysers, and sulfur pools. You
boy.
regularly received visits from Azure traders. And if I remember correctly, Azures are fire people. I'll have to actually look that one up again, but yeah.
Okay.
5. Your monastery was founded by gnomes and is an underground labyrinth of tunnels and rooms. And then finally, your monastery was carved from an iceberg in the frozen reaches of the world. Once again, we don't have to choose any of these options. We can make up something cool in itself. But yeah, consider those options.
What was that number 1 again and number 2?
Your monastery is carved out of mountainside where it looms over a treacherous pass. And then your monastery is high in the branches of an immense tree in the Feywild.
Oh yeah, the Fey one.
Yeah.
I might want to. The first one sounds interesting. Like,
we could make it a little bit more halfling.
And I think I would want to definitely do some customization to that.
But, yeah, we could be like,
yeah,
your monastery wasn't originally a great halfling hall until the order took it over.
Yeah, I was thinking of my character being one that abandoned the halfling society, and in his seeking, came across a human lands monk monastery that he was accepted into, and thus kind of the outcast, but accepted.
So we could do something like your monastery is a fortress made by humans, incorporating both uh, Mighty Lumber and Stone, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Um, or we could think of like a cooler feature if you want. Um, I don't know. What would attract your character to a monastery that's run by humans? That would be the question.
Um, because the halfling society that he came from, um, is just kind of content with things just continuing on how they always are, but he feels like there's got to be something more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he notices the um, thing that humans often do is trying to discover more, and trying to understand and um, so like his home village, his home halfling village is just kind of, I guess, mundane
Mm-hmm.
would be a good word for it.
Ooh, I think I have one.
Yeah.
My monastery is a place of both worship and discovery of the universe. So, which includes, let's just say, a planetarium. Something that looks upon the stars, maybe even a telescope. My
Mm-hmm.
monastery. Wow, that's a hard word to say right now. Um, is a place that uses mechanical devices to help explore our spirituality and the universe.
Hmm.
I mean, that sounds pretty cool, actually.
I guess I wasn't really envisioning a technology type of thing. I guess I was more envisioning an inner seeking type of.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Is that too cliche?
No, no, no. I was just thinking outside of the box a little and think of something that just looked generally cool.
Yeah.
Um, 'Cause I think they're trying to generally like have the monastery be like a picturesque place that we can envision
Right.
that
Right.
attracted someone.
I'm just trying to
Um,
think of what this place would look like.
yeah.
I would say it's a place that is. Um, let's see. How could I describe? How could I envision this? Um, Remote lands, um, away from society. Um,
Ooh, it could be like something that's like the opposite of like a halfling village. So halflings generally live in like hills that are like that has houses incorporated into the hills. This could be like
right.
in a flat savanna with just a tall fortress like building.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's a almost like an obelisk in the flat land.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something to consider. I mean, this doesn't have to be done straight away, but it's
Right. Right.
something to take note of. Um, let's go to the next one, and I'll just leave you thinking about
Yeah.
language proficiency.
Language proficiency.
What are you doing, Ethan?
something about language proficiency.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, are you trying to get our attention, Ethan?
I mean, obviously, I can speak halfling.
Yeah, and common. Ethan, if you are trying to communicate with us, you are on mute.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. You
Oh.
are.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
No wonder my commentary was ignored.
Hey. Yeah. How long have you been trying to talk?
Long time, at least 30 minutes. But I was only
Oh,
chiming in, saying like, nice, stuff like that. So
Oh,
no worries.
like, do
But
you have any suggestions for this monastery business?
oh my gosh, my brain had commentary, but nothing amazing to add. To be honest,
That's
I like
fine.
the obelisk.
Yeah,
Obelisks. I love obelisks.
something that is tall and kind of bare. But
yeah.
just like you can see it. It's obvious that it's there.
And they are not
But
trying to hide.
there's nothing really of I guess it's a place that if a tourist would not want to go there.
Yeah.
They'd be like, wow, I'm bored out of my mind sitting amongst these people that are just sitting around, you know, I guess meditating and then, you know, training and meditating basically.
Yeah, I kind of like the kind of temple obelisk idea personally.
Yeah.
I
Kind of spiritually involved more so than
yeah,
physically.
yeah. It's basically a symbol to help them focus power than being a fancy building.
Right.
It's like you're praying at the Washington Monument, basically. Yeah. So the next thing they have on here, for your background for your monk, is monastic icon.
Monastic icon.
Yep. So it's a symbol that
What is
represents. Well, it's a symbol that represents like what your uh, monastery is all about.
Uh-huh.
So the suggestions that I actually have on here is the monkey, which represents quick reflexes and the ability to travel through treetops. Um, pretty much the monkey's quick reflexes and agility is something that they revere, so they chose that. The dragon turtle. Um, the monks of your seaside monastery venerate the dragon turtle, reciting ancient prayers and offerings, offer garlands of flowers to honor this living spirit of the sea. Um, then they have the Chiron your monastery sees. Its main purpose as watching over and protecting the land in the manner of the Chiron. Owlbear, the monks of your monastery were a family of owlbears and have coexisted with them for generations. That kind of sounds badass.
Yeah.
Hydra. Your order singles out the Hydra for its ability to unleash several attacks simultaneously. And then, finally, Dragon. A dragon once laired within your monastery. Influences remain long after its departure. Of course, we can always
Ooh.
find a different creature or whatever. You can even pick like unicorn.
Right. Right. So, what if we the monastery rather than an obelisk was in fact just a monk society that decided to found itself in an abandoned dragon's lair?
That's pretty badass.
You know, say picture this savannah, but then you have an outcropping and the dragon's lair within that, you know, large I guess protrusion of earth and stone, and a lair within that the monastery would be based.
That sounds pretty cool, and it sounds like something that would pretty much keep tourists away, and maybe terrorists, but mostly tourists. I like it. I applaud. So, and that would make sense that they have a dragon for their symbol.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can talk later about dragons' colors and stuff, even privately, because in D&D 5e, kind of like with the last few renditions of D&D, there are different colors of dragons, and they have all sorts of different alignments, etc., etc. So.
Oh yeah. Different color dragons being different alignments and behaviors. That's been a thing since forever.
Yeah.
I'm glad they actually implement that.
Yeah. Well, you know, if they didn't have details of dragons in a game with "and dragons" in the name, I'd be worried.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And lastly, something to think about for your monk past is your master.
My master.
Yep.
Ooh.
So they have 6 different options. Once again, do you want me to just read out the list?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, awesome. You guys are putting my reading voice to the test today. Yeah, so masters. The first option. Your master was a tyrant whom you had to defeat in single combat to complete your instruction. Second option. Your master was kindly and taught you to pursue the cause of peace. Third, your option was your master was merciless in pushing you to your limits. You nearly lost an eye during one especially brutal practice session. Or hell, you could probably have lost an eye. Fourth, your master seemed good-hearted while tutoring you, but betrayed your monastery in the end. That's dark. 5. Your master was cold and distant. You respect that the two of you might be related. Which doesn't sound like what you're wanting. 6. Your master was kind and generous, never critical of your progress. Nevertheless, you feel you never fully lived up to the expectations placed on you.
So, I'm definitely feeling the master betrayed one.
And that could be why you went to become a hermit for a while.
Exactly.
That sounds good. Yeah. Speaking of
I
that,
was trained as a monk, and then I was horribly wronged, and I left, and I went to be a hermit until said D&D session begins.
Yeah. Okay, and let's look up the stuff for the background, because the other stuff for your actual background asks the question of why you became a hermit, and it sounds like you're already piecing together why you have actually become a hermit, but we'll see what the book says, and we'll probably just make up something on our own.
It's always good no matter which way we go.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I'll hear what the book says. The book has some good suggestions. It's had since 1974 to develop here D&D, you know.
Yeah, you hope they know what they're doing by this point.
When it's over, it's, what, 43 years old or something?
Yeah, something like that. Who can do math now?
Yeah.
So the hermit. The reason I became a hermit, and here are the options. My enemies ruined my reputation, and I fled to the wilds to avoid further disparagement. which we could actually
Mhm.
change to your master ruined your reputation.
Right.
Second option, I'm comfortable with being isolated as I seek inner peace. 3, I never liked the people I called my friends, so it was easy for me to strike out on my own. Wow. 4, I felt compelled to forsake my past, but did so with great reluctance, and sometimes I regret making that decision. 5, I lost everything, my home, my family, my friends. Going it alone was all I could do. And then 6, society's decadence disgusts me. I decided to leave it behind.
What was number 1 again?
My enemies ruined my reputation, and I fled to the wilds to avoid further disparagement.
Yeah, that could very easily be changed to
Oh yeah, super easily.
my master ruined my reputation. Say
Yep.
the master became corrupt and then blamed me
Mm-hmm.
or my character per se.
Are you writing any of this down, by any chance?
I'm keeping it in my mind.
Okay. I would recommend writing this down
Yeah.
somewhere within your stuff.
Thankfully,
And plus,
we
it's
can rewatch the stream if need be.
yeah. I was about to
Yes.
say that. Yeah. Because
See, I'm kind of getting the whole thing. I was one of those people in school whenever I had to write an essay, I'd be like, let's see what's it all about, and I'll kind of read about, and kind of get an idea of what my essay was about, and I'd just start writing from top to bottom and be like, there's finished essay, no draft.
yeah. Oh wow.
That's kind of the way I write.
So yeah, that would be most of your background there. That we just picked apart. Let's see, monastic traditions. We don't have
Don't
to
see
do that
much. How
until
about
third
that?
level, so that's a-okay. But they have some pretty cool options in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Yeah, let's work on fleshing out your character a little bit more, putting the options where we need to put the options. Because at level 1, you do get some cool things. If we're going to actually find the page again. So, at first level, you gain unarmored defense. So, instead of doing calculations and stuff. Hmm?
Oh, I need to
Nothing.
flip this pellet.
Sorry.
Oh.
First level, I get 1
so-
AC.
Yeah, what we can do to make it even easier is, so you see the core bio spells and the cog?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, go to the cog.
Okay.
And then we are going to... Oh, shit, where is it? There's an option for this. Class Monk, there we go. It may have already done it for you, actually. I'm going to take control of your character sheet for a moment, so it's probably going to flash for you.
Yeah. Go right ahead.
So, armor class. What? Okay. And then we get to check out halfling luck there. So you're a halfling.
Yeah.
Magic, blah blah blah. I'm actually trying to remember where the
There's a armor class, global armor class modifier, armor class tracking automatic under attribute options.
yeah. There's man, why can't I find it now? There should be a way to add your unarmored defense to that. Ah, here we go. So what I did is I hit custom,
I see.
and so you can make it so it's the middle one says Dex or Dexterity, whatever the option may be,
Mm-hmm.
and then the last one is your Wisdom modifier, and it should just change as you level up or change the stats.
Okay.
So you have an AC of 15 without being armored. And that's pretty damn good for a level 1 character.
No kidding.
Yep. And what I would suggest for this next part is find the section called Martial Arts in the your PDF of the Player's Handbook. And in your bio under additional features and traits, copy the martial arts section and just paste it into there. Because it's a kind of long section and it has a lot of good information, but it's kind of a long read and a long type. So as first level, you gain the following benefits when you're either doing unarmed strikes or you have a monk weapon and you aren't wearing any armor or not having a shield. So you can use dexterity instead of strength for the attack damage of your unarmed strength and your monk weapons. So that's pretty cool. You can roll a d4 in place of your normal damage when you're doing an unarmed strike or a monk weapon. And this die will actually get bigger as you level up. And when you use the attack action with an unarmed strike or a monk weapon on your turn, you can make one unarmed strike as a bonus action. So that one's pretty awesome. It's like, so let's just say you're using a quarterstaff, which is one of the monk weapons, and if you make an attack with that, as a bonus action during combat, you can actually hit with your hand as an unarmed strike. It's a pretty cool feature.
Yeah. You kind of get an extra little attack in there.
Yep. But it does use your bonus action, but we'll get more into that in the pros and cons when we actually get into a combat situation. And you gain tools and stuff. Yay! So I'll let you write down what you need to write down and check in with Ethan here. He's still on mute. Yeah. So how are you doing with your background and stuff?
I mean, basically just got to run everything by you, but I think the character's kind of done. Do you want me to just kind of start from the top?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if you have my character's character sheet up.
Oh, I do.
All right. So I obviously put in the stats on the left. I added the racial bonuses to dexterity and wisdom. For the background, I went with the player's handbook Outlander.
Okay.
And I kind of picked multiple things from their suggestion as well as slightly tweaked them a little bit.
Okay.
As far as the personality ideals, bonds, and flaws go. So for the personality, I had her be a little bit of rude and uncouth around civilized folks. Cares more about natural ties, tribes, clans, and families of the natural world. Not so much about all these artificial societal constructs, things like that. She also doesn't really place stock in wealth or wealthy people. Like, just because somebody has a bunch of money doesn't mean that much to her. Character matters a lot more. Honor, proving one's worth those ways. Oops, that should be an ideal. She watches over friends like a litter of puppies, and she's definitely more comfortable around animals than people. As far as ideals go, kind of playing off of what I said earlier, natural world is more important than all of the civilizations. And then also life is like seasons, always changing in ongoing cycles. People, you need to adapt to it and grow with nature, not try and force it to not change. And then also I guard and protect my pack. Bond. I'll get a little more into the background and reasons for these things in a bit, but as far as I have a clan that I left for some complicated reasons, and I'm one of a few left of my honored bloodline from this Wood Elf clan.
Cool.
As far as flaws go, I can be kind of quick to use intimidation or maybe mild violence to try and solve altercations, difficult situations, though I'm not physically overbearing at all. I'm a pretty thin, petite female wood elf. I'm not some berserker, so that kind of runs into problems. And I also believe that people need to learn how to save themselves. Some tough love. And do you have any questions or concerns about those kind of character personalities so far?
I'm just forming in my head how this group's going to work. And it's going to be quite interesting with the different personalities that we're having so far.
Yeah.
This will be a very interesting role play experience.
I think so too. It'll be fun.
Yep.
Do you want me to get into the little bit of the blurb that I've put for the background so far? It's not fully fleshed out or anything.
Yeah, sure. And
I'd love...
have you looked at the Zenithar guides to for your background for your ranger?
Yeah. Like the reasons why. I haven't looked at the... Oh, yeah. No, I did. And I put that in the bio section.
Okay, cool.
All that stuff. Yeah, it's all there.
View to the world, homeland, and why your sworn enemy is your sworn enemy.
Yeah, I haven't picked the sworn enemy yet. That was the next thing I was working on. That's
right. Cool.
I was going to ask you about that after I go through this bio.
Cool.
So I come from a small tribe of expert archers. We were once a pretty powerful and gosh, I can't think of the word. Is prevalent? That's not right.
Prevalent?
Clan. Yeah, prevalent clan. But our numbers are dwindling, and I won't go into so much the reason. I want to talk to you more about some fun stuff with that you could do. Now we're pretty few in number, maybe just a few pockets, and we keep to ourselves in pretty much isolation. And once leaving the tribe, you have to have a reason to come back, like a good reason. As far as why I became a ranger and an outlander, I spent a lot of time in the wilds as a child, and I came to love that way of life. Um, and as I'd mentioned, my tribe had retreated into isolation, into the wilderness, and the world, most of whom are thinking that the tribe is extinguished. A tragedy recently befell myself and my tribe, which led me on my current path from home. And through that tragedy, I came to understand that there are darkness that lurks in the wilds and the world, and I vowed to take it upon myself to try and combat it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I like this.
So you got some definitely some stuff to work with.
Oh yeah.
As far as tying the character into the party.
And of course, I'm definitely going to work with you with some of the stuff. So
great.
Yeah. Like with everyone else, I'm going to work on stuff. So.
Yeah. The favorite enemy, do you want to get into a discussion about that now, or possibly outside of the stream? It might even lead to possible spoilers depending on where the discussion goes for stuff down the road.
Well, let's do it lightly, because there's probably someone who's going to watch this now or in the future who wants to make a ranger and is like, okay, well, I see that, definitely there's advantages of having a sworn enemy and choosing one because, like, you get to learn languages of them and you get a few other things, and, like, the player's handbook always suggests that you, like, pick from, like, the list that they have. Aberrations, beasts, celestials, constructs, dragons, elementals, fays, fiends, giants, monstrosities, oozes, plants, or undead. And, or alternatively, 2 races of humanoids. So.
Such as gnolls and orcs.
Yep.
Good choices, by the way.
Yeah.
Great choices, by the way.
But I have talked to, in the past, like, an actual group or class of people. Like, there was the possibility of some certain characters, their favorite enemy are wizards. And it's like, oh, wow, well, yeah, that could be one. Or,
would that just, I mean, I'm not going to do that, but did you let them have, like, they can read wizard arcane text or something as their language for that?
Yeah.
Or,
they would be able to recognize the symbols and the practices of, enacting magic.
They're like wizard hunters.
Yeah, basically.
Nice. Okay, that'd help with necromancers.
Yeah. I was trying to actually convince Dakota of that, and then I think I kind of gave up, and I was like, I'll just do undead. That will make it easier.
Way easier that way.
Yeah.
Oh well. So I mean, this was the idea I was floating around. There's the classic favorite enemy, and I would probably pick gnolls and something else, because gnolls need to get out of the woods and leave it alone. Okay.
Yeah.
But what I was wondering is if you'd be open to or interested in having it be like, I don't have a clear idea of what this darkness that befell my isolated tribe is, but perhaps I was touched by this particular darkness. Whatever type of enemy it is, perhaps that would be my favorite enemy, but I would leave that up to you because it's your story of what kind of thing would attack it. Like, almost think of the movie Princess Mononoke, where there was like the corrupted boar god, and he came in and like the darkness touched the character in some way.
Yeah.
And then he had kind of a relationship with it. I don't care about the relationship stuff so much. I don't care about being cursed, but that kind of idea of some big thing came in and messed stuff up, or some little thing came in and messed stuff up, could be a subtle corruption. Who knows?
No, I dig it. I dig that. Yeah, we'll definitely have to work with each other, probably behind the scenes, because
that's what I was thinking.
I'd love to stream stuff like this, but it would be like I would have to record it and probably post it after the fact of like the game, how I worked on it with you, but
yeah, that sounds good. So my favorite
yeah.
enemy is whatever we will decide on a later date.
All right, cool. And we'll definitely message each other or bump heads in reality or whatever. But that sounds cool. Yeah, like Newells and Darkness, I guess.
Yeah, it could either be if we don't want to go that route, it could be like Knowles and some other creature that's a humanoid, or like I was saying, I would be totally happy just picking whatever type of darkness messed with it, whether it was like aberrations or like demons or something, fiends.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you want to use. Hell, it could be undead that's attacking. I'm not sure what type of ailments plague the great land of Swordfall.
Yeah, I'm not sure either because I'm gonna let you guys work on some of that
Ooh, fun.
because
I gotta say, I think it'd be fun to fight some demons, lesser and greater. I haven't spent too much time fighting demons.
no, I mean we could totally make it a fiend um or something else. I mean, I'm down with putting that in my world because we know there's a giant celestial sword that's floating above the city for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that like gods or at least
They fought
celestials
something.
exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So something's happening in the world.
Let's say tentatively fiends.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Ooh, how are you getting that? They changed this. So what I'm oohing about is that in the features and traits section, Ethan has put in somehow the features and traits for his class. And are you just... Let me experiment. I'm going to mess with your character sheet for a moment here, Guy, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I decided to change my my skills a little bit. Instead of acrobatics and stealth, I went for acrobatics and insight.
Oh, cool.
I like it fit better.
Yeah, insight's a fun one. I had a hard time choosing whether I wanted to go insight or animal handling. Animal handling comes up, and when it comes up, you're like, shoot, who in the party can touch this animal without us all dying? But insight's really good. It's people reading and creature reading, and that's important for a monk and for a ranger, I would say.
I mean, I think I already get a little bit of advantage being in terms of stealth anyway, being a halfling.
Yeah.
It's like, and there's a person in front of me. You can't see.
Andrew, go.
Oh, hey, that is nifty.
Yeah, isn't it? It's a lot nicer than just having a blog.
So Guy.
Yeah.
They've updated the character sheet like within the last month or something.
Yeah.
So I didn't know this was actually possible. But so if you go to your features and traits under your core stats, there's a plus button, and you can actually add like the martial arts to that. And where you got it and why you have it.
One thing that's nice about it too, once you're done entering it, you hit the gear to be done editing it. And if you click on it, it minimizes and maximizes. So you can like not have all the text there all the time.
Right.
Click on it, make it big, click on it, make it small. And then you hit the chat bubble to throw it in chat. So then you can just boom, like, hey guys, this is this thing I'm using. It's really handy.
Yeah, and so when I ask you about something, I'm like, are you sure that's how it works? You can be like, yes.
Yeah, I can hide in the rain, okay? I'm so moody.
And I got automatically my my unarmored defense
Actually,
Mark.
I added that.
Oh, you added that?
Yeah. I was
Okay,
just
well,
like,
there
okay,
you go.
how does this work? Cool.
Yep.
Nice.
They also added a lot of stuff to the SRD. If you look up like abilities and traits and items, with the little eye icon at the top. Like, I didn't enter my longbow. I just typed in longbow, dragged it over the character sheet, and it just plugged it in nicely for me.
Wow, they've made this even easier. So
Yeah. Outer armor did this. Pretty nifty.
So if we type in martial arts,
There's a lot of stuff missing though too. I know they're still working on it. Like when I went to races and I went to elf, they have like high elves but no wood elves and drow yet. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, I forgot to ask, Ethan.
Yeah.
You're spamming language proficiency in the chat earlier.
Oh yeah. I was trying to enter in my languages, but I was pressing the wrong thing.
Ah, as that was.
Yeah. So I actually responded when I was muted. I was like, "Oh no, don't worry about it." But I didn't realize I was muted still. Sorry.
I was like, wait, was he trying to tell us something?
My last dying clicks, just click, click, click. Save
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah, let's fill in some of this more. Fill in more of this, and for you guy, and we'll call it a night soon because it is 10 o'clock our time. Is it 10 o'clock your time too?
Here.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we're all in Pacific. Let's make sure that you have all your gear and everything for a starting adventure. You guys are going to start out in a fairly large town, so there will be room to like shop and stuff. So whatever you don't have now, you can use what gold you get by making your character. So there should be an equipment tab. Yeah. So on your core sheet, in the middle, on the bottom, there's equipment.
Yep.
And in the player's handbook, there's also an equipment section too. So you get to choose between these options. First option is either you can choose from a short sword or any simple weapon. And I can describe to you what a simple weapon actually is if you want.
I mean, I could kind of get an idea of what a simple weapon is, but please do.
Okay. Go away, wizard stuff. I don't care about you. I care about knives. So, once I actually find the page, I can direct you to it too. Here we go. This is the stuff. So, book-wise, on page 149, I don't know what is on the PDF anymore.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, I think they skip over the large pictures in between pages in that PDF. So all the numbers are like off after so many pages.
Yeah. The equipment should be right after the backgrounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually looking for on specifically the actual list that they have.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, here, simple weapons. I got it.
So, simple weapons.
I'm to roll my starting. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Great club, dagger, great club, hand axe, javelin, light hammer, mace, quarterstaff, sickle, spear, and unarmed strike.
Yep.
Unarmed strike, infinite dollars. That's what that dash means.
Yeah.
Yeah, unarmed strike. I mean, Yeah, you can be a bare fist monk or fight with a quarterstaff, which is a pretty cool weapon.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Sickles and spears and stuff are cool too.
Yeah. Let's see.
To tell you the truth, you might get the most bang out of your buck as you are a first level character. Actually having a spear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The reasoning
I
behind
guess
that
my
is
hands, my unarmed strike can do bludgeoning
yeah,
damage, and spear can do piercing,
yeah,
and I
and
can do both of those attacks.
Yeah. Spears are cool because you can throw them, and they're one-handed and two-handed,
yep.
which is
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that actually sounds. I was looking at spear. I was looking at quarterstaff, and I was looking at dagger, and I thought, like, maybe not dagger.
Yeah, if you think about like what would you give someone with very little fighting experience to go out and maim people in war? Give them a spear.
Yep. Because you can throw it, and if you don't retrieve it, you're a monk, so you can actually hit with your hands pretty effectively.
Yep.
So, cool.
You want us to? I know
Yeah.
there's like the basic starting gear, and we're going to be buying items in game. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll roll for how much gold we have before we play, and then we'll go in game and
Yeah, that's actually what I was gonna have him do after choosing the equipment.
after picking.
Yeah.
Got it.
So you get to choose now between a Dungeoneer's pack and an Explorer's pack. My usual suggestion is an Explorer's pack because it comes with a bit better stuff.
Yeah, you get. I'm looking at it here. You get some of your basic utilities, torches, rations, and rope.
Yep.
Engineer's pack, crowbar, hammer, 10 pitons, pitons.
Yeah.
Spikes, basically.
Okay. Torches, tinderbox, 10 days, rations, water skin, 50 feet of rope. I mean, not too
They're pretty
far
similar.
apart, but the engineers seem, I guess, crowbar and hammer, and the pitons.
Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to bedroll, mess kit, tinderbox. A little more just general utilitarian survival type
Yeah.
of stuff.
Well, I usually suggest the Explorers is because it does have the bedroll and stuff, and if you're ever in that situation of, hey guys, it's kind of cold out, who has a bedroll?
Yeah. Let's see. Where I put that in?
Just put it under your equipment, and then like in your treasure section in your bio,
tab.
you can just list what's in your stuff.
Okay. Rather than add every single thing.
Yeah.
All right, and I can always add that in later.
Yeah. Also,
I wonder if we could actually drag that over. I'm gonna try it.
I know there's so much to explore now.
You can just drag over an Explorer's pack.
Oh, hot damn.
Also, there's
Wait,
details under those equipment items now. If you hit the little dot, it's supposed to have, it has all the details of what's in the pack.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, so you just did an automatic thing here?
Yeah. So what you want to do, you go to like the little eye at the top right.
In the very middle.
Circle. Yeah, top right middle. There's the eye, and then you can search for things.
I'm looking for it. Wait, top.
Yeah, not on your character sheet.
That gotcha.
Yeah, just type in Explorer.
Oh yeah, look at that. Explorer's pack
and
and you
then
drag it in.
just drag it in.
Bam. Holy
Ooh.
cow.
That is
And then,
sweet.
And I
Once
think
you have it
I'll-
in there, kind of hover over Explorer's Pack. There's a little
Mhm.
little dark dot. You click on that, and then it opens everything up for you. And you should have a slide down that includes all the things that are in there.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on.
That's wonderful.
That
Roll
right
20
there.
really outdid themselves this time.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to change it, you hit the little unlock key, and you can like delete things. And
Yeah.
I'm deleting the extra spaces on
Oh
mine.
yeah,
right
look
now.
at that. There it all is.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
last-
hey, and you put your spear in there. That's awesome.
Yep, automatically.
Yep. And also, the last thing you get for your starting equipment is 10 darts.
All right.
They are a thrown weapon, too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I can just search up dart. Drag that right in. Have 10 of them. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we forgot something for your Sky.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so you get more proficiency because of your background. For Hermit, because I was looking at your stuff, I'm like, he doesn't have as many proficiencies as he needs.
Yeah, I think you get
Oh,
religion.
right. I do get a couple, right?
Yep.
Religion and something else as a
Medicine and religion.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you also get an herbalism kit, which you can put in your tools.
Tools and proficiencies?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, it just dropped it right in equipment.
Oh, awesome.
I dragged it over to tools and proficiencies, but I just put it in equipment.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see.
Wow, this makes it really easy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, you also get a winter blanket. Which I don't know if they actually have that in there. But,
I doubt
Yeah, it doesn't
that.
look like. I see a blanket.
yeah. And what? A scroll
See,
case
blanket,
stuffed with
adventuring gear.
notes.
Doesn't tell me.
Winter blanket, a set of common clothes.
So I'm curious, what happens if I click on hunting trap? No, you can't. Dang.
Man, like, doing this by Roll20 is so much easier.
Easier than it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
It used to be horrid.
No kidding.
Also, we need to set up your health points here, too, because we haven't done that.
I did a calculation.
So,
Which was
I give you
8
always...
plus Constitution.
Yep.
Bonus.
I always give you the choice of either rolling, or you can take the average of your hit points. So either you can roll a 1d8 and then add your Constitution modifier, or you can take the 5, which is the average roll, and then add your Constitution modifier.
So, in I believe it was under the monk class, for Constitution, it is automatically.
Yeah, okay, never mind. I was thinking about
plus
leveling up.
modifier.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
So I already took care of that.
You're at 9.
I just filled it in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, cool. And then money. We should probably get that down. You roll for
Weird.
What do you need that for? Except for buying stuff.
yeah. Actually, which is funny because you get an automatic 5 gold for being a hermit. Go figure.
That's just nothing.
Yeah. And then each class gets so much gold to roll for, and yours is, if I can actually find it. Let's see, monk. Roll me 5d4. Wow, it's actually a pretty good roll.
So it'd be 13 plus that 5.
Yes.
So we'd have, for money, I would have 18.
It's not a bad start.
I just gotta figure out where to put that.
There is a place to put that. If you look down at your equipment, there is little boxes that says CP, SP, EP, GP.
Copper, silver,
Espion or
whatever
something.
E is. Gold, platinum.
Electrum.
Electrum.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Which, who the hell uses Electrum?
So is this 18
GP.
copper pieces?
Gold pieces.
Oh, 18
Yeah.
gold pieces. Oh, dang.
Ooh la la.
No kidding. That's. Oh, it automatically adds weight.
Yep.
Wow.
I am slightly one of those DMs who doesn't really care about weight encumbrance. Like, as long as you're not like, hey, I have 50 cheese wheels on me. Like, how are you carrying around 50 cheese wheels?
Can I give a short diversion of a little story from back when I played 3.5?
Oh, do indulge us.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a very custom campaign, multiverse campaign, some custom character classes.
That's always a good start.
One of the character classes was the Space Dwarf, which one person was playing.
Space Dwarf.
Space Dwarf. So just let that sink in for a moment as I continue here. So the Space Dwarf, it has some interesting character traits. One of the interesting character traits is how the carry capacity is computed. And it's computed on an exponential scale. A very steep exponential scale. And the person that was playing the Space Dwarf, it was already a good number of levels, and I can't remember what level it was, but it was pretty well. They've been playing for a while by the time I actually joined in the campaign. But he had a strength of, I think it was 24.
Oh, wow.
And then some modifiers on top of that. Or, I guess whatever you would call it. But yeah. So basically, to like his effective strength for computing carry capacity, it was like 26 or 28 or something like that. And he just kept carrying more and more stuff, and finally the GM says, I'm actually going to calculate out how much carry capacity you have. And it took like 5 minutes.
Oh, God.
And finally he's like, all right, you can carry like some number of 100,000 tons. You know what? I don't care anymore. Here's a bag of holding. Just have whatever you want.
The moment where the DM just kind of gives up, and he's like,
Yeah, I don't care anymore. Here.
yeah.
And then we actually had an entire night where we adventured entirely being lost in his bag of holding.
Oh, that's
it took a
always
whole
an
night to find
adventure.
our way out. And then there was a section of it where we were kind of in it was multiverse, so we had a portion of it that was in the Matrix universe.
Wow.
And we had the Nebuchadnezzar hover ship. There was a whole section of adventuring that happened where we were in that, and like nobody knew how to fly it. But, end of all that, he's like, and I'm gonna put this in my bag too.
Oh man.
I'm just like, whatever. It's within your carry capacity, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd be like that stippler. I'm like, okay, how are you fitting the hole around the ship?
Elastic band.
Elastic band. Oh man. Yeah.
It's just pretty good amount of hilarity with all that.
I was well, I'm still running this game. It used to be a dropping game, but now it's like a full-fledged campaign. But when I first started, I was playing with this one guy who decided to be a Goliath because that literally just came out. I'm like, cool, let's try this Goliath. And his character, with how he built it, turned out to be able to carry horses and move faster than the actual horse. So after a while, he's like, no problem being mounted. I'll just, carry the horse back with me. Whatever. I'm just like, oh man. It got
that's hilarious.
Rather ridiculous.
It's a good workout routine.
Yeah.
Carry horses.
Okay. So we got your gold. We got your proficiencies in your skills and your saving throws. We got your stats down. We got some equipment on ya. We got your background all figured out. Now, languages. That's something we haven't done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a monk, do you get any languages? That is a good question.
Actually, can I just for a moment say BRB bio?
Sure.
All right, I'll be right back.
But he does get a language for halfling, and I think he gets to choose a language for hermit. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to roll my gold or do anything?
Yeah, sure. Roll your gold. Let's get as much of this done as we can within the time.
What is it for rangers? 5d4 times 10. Okay.
Yep.
80 gold.
Nice.
I get a 10 as an outlander, so I'm up at 90 points.
This is turning out to be a daring group of good characters.
Yep. I hope some of the other people who join up have a lot more gold than we do. But
well, this is why you're doing a job, man.
Yeah. Let's see. The only other question I had, which totally fine if you say no, for starting equipment.
Yeah.
As far as melee weapons go, are you fine with me having a short sword and like a small shield? If not, I'm totally good with just 2 short swords or 2 daggers. I'm not too particular about it.
Okie dokie.
Let me just weigh that out in my head for a moment.
Yep.
Because if you get a small hand shield, that increases your AC at first. Two simple melee weapons.
Yeah, the character is primarily going to be ranged, so it's
Yeah.
like I'm totally cool just having her have like daggers or something.
Yeah,
Not a big.
I'm just gonna say no, just because, like, if you were being like a fighter, yeah, I could totally see that, but Rangers don't
It
traditionally.
doesn't add much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and trying to be as close to the rules as I can stand.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm trying to stick like even close to the recommendations. It's kind of fun doing it though. It's like a challenge to use what they have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So Ethan and I have been playing campaigns where we've just kind of taken any resource,
Made stuff up.
Yeah, and made stuff up. I'm a little bit more like more of a purist. I try to not use so many homebrew things, and I stick to the books. And but there's like every once in a while, I'm like, hey, DM, look what I found on like the D&D wiki. Do you think I could use this? And or like Ethan, you pulling stuff out of the DM guild. That's
Yeah, I love the stuff from the DM guild. I'm like, hey, Paul, hey, Dakota, you guys are like, what'd you find? I'm like, I found this 250-page book, but look at this thing in it.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't break anything in the game.
Never.
No.
But
Yeah.
hey, at
Nah.
least I'm a pretty responsible person with my. Even if I have a game breaking mechanic, I don't exploit it. I use it at really weird times. Like, no, I didn't trip and fall. No, that didn't happen. I refuse. It's like, okay, that was a really weird time to use that ability. That's fine.
It's about pride.
Yeah.
Let's see. I get some artisan tools or music instrument.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna grab myself some cook's utensils.
Cool. And now with Xanathar's guide, I might be able to be like, oh yeah, you're gonna use those. So, beforehand, with the tools and tool proficiency, people got really confused on how to use them because they have some things that are interesting in there. That if I think the general rule was if you have a tool proficiency in it and you're using it for a job that uses that tool, you gain proficiency in that task. So you're rolling two d20s instead of just one d20, and you take the highest d20 you roll. And there wasn't really a cohesive idea on like DC levels on certain activities using these tools and stuff. But Xanathar it's like, hey, here are some really good suggestions.
Yeah.
Actually, they're okay suggestions if I really had to come down with it, but they're suggestions nonetheless and tell you a little bit more on how to use the tools. So, yeah.
All right. And I figure, being in a monk monastery, isolated, probably learned how to cook, and being a hermit, probably needed to cook.
Hey, that's a good reason.
Right?
Oh yeah. Okay. Anything else? Oh yeah, we were gonna talk about languages. So
Right.
As a halfling, you get halfling as a language.
Mm-hmm.
As a just player, you get common. And for having the hermit background, you get one more language. So the choices are a bunch, actually. There is something that happens that. Man, that was such a lead up, and I'm just like, duh. I think I may need to stop soon so I can just like take a breather.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost been 4 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Welcome to D&D.
Yeah. Well, technically, if we really want to do like the math behind how many hours of D&D I've been doing, we had the Sunday game, which was about 3 hours, and then doing this now, which we're getting on to 4 hours, so that's about 7 hours right there.
See what I mean, guy? That is exactly what I was doing on accident. Clicking. So you want to click just above where it says that to actually change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the standard languages
That's a
there.
noise.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you get to choose from any of these languages. You already have common, so no need to choose that. There's dwarf, there's elf, giant, gnomish, goblin, orc, and then some of the more stranger ones are abyssal, that's for demons, celestial, that's for celestials, or angels if you really want to put a word on it. Draconic, and those are like kobolds, dragons, that stuff. Deep speech, which is for like mind flayers, beholders, other nasty things. Infernal, which are for devils. Primordial, which for elementals. Sylvan, that's for fey creatures. And then Undercommon are for all those guys in the Underdark.
Okay.
Yep. So you get to choose any one of those for your hermit background.
Let me look that up. I just want to look at the list here myself.
Yep. In my book, it's on 123.
Okay, so we'll go to like 115.
Also, a lot of the stuff you can look up in Roll20 and they'll have some of the information, but you can't trust it to have all of it, sadly.
So I get to choose just, is it any language?
Yeah, any language. And choosing it means you can actually speak it, understand it, write it.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, obviously these characters are not American.
Well, they speak common, so, you know.
They speak
so
more than one language.
Oh, yeah, that's right. What do you think D&D is always in, like, a, you know, European fantasy setting, not an American fantasy setting?
I know.
So what do you speak, sir? I speak common. Ah, you're good American.
So humans would obviously be common.
Yep.
Character obviously trained with humans. It's obvious. Halfling is obvious.
Yeah. And generally,
what would make sense?
What would make sense?
I was trying to think of what would make sense in my character.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna go with like common trade languages, that would be like above ground. Elven would be one. Gnomish would be another.
Yeah, just think about what
although my character kind of left that lifestyle early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of races do you think your character would have interacted with?
You know, I'm in a dragon monastery. Draconic would actually make sense.
Yeah,
There you go.
that would be.
Yeah, all the languages around, and yeah.
You know, that could be a total thing that was passed down.